Ali, 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 yeah. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for His blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for His blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for His blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for His blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for His blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for His blessings. Ali was the circle 7.
Islam, 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 Moorish America, want to rise upon the 7 within the circle of justice, mercy, love, and right, and give all praises to the great God Allah, Father God Allah, and honors to His holy prophet, honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, El-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, that is. We give honors to our Moorish kin once again, here, there, and everywhere, and therefore honors to all of you who are continuously honoring yourselves by being yourselves. We give honors to our Grand National Seal. We give honors to our Grand National Emblem, National Flag, Divine Constitution and bylaws, and honors to all of you who are indeed a living manifestation and personification of everything that our Holy Prophet brought to make us a nation. I want to welcome you to another late night library session. And I'm your host instructor, Dr. Shahid Imani Mohadi Shabazz. My ancient Comedian high name being the same as Dr. Shedawamenti El Muhajir Shepsuel. And you already know, family, we got a grand drawing to bring to the manifest tonight. As always, we're going to keep them coming. That's what it's about right now. And we're going to most definitely pick up where we left off last night. And I want to give honors to my audience, our family that's listening in, Brother Born Dog, Terrence the Great, honors to you, family. Honors to the goddess, Sister Lisa Nicole Moria Bayel. Honors to all of you, family. Yeah, this right here most definitely, will open up the way for our family to be able to pick up where we left off at last night. Now that people understand what we mean when we say NBC. So, the concept of status correction. In order to know what status correction is, you have to know what status is. You see, and then you can understand, what we mean by this. And it ain't got nothing to do with nobody selling nobody no paperwork, because it ain't now Negro, so-called Negro, black or colored individual out here that can free you from nothing. If it was like that, then, we would have been free over 100 and some odd years ago if it was that simple, wouldn't it? So we are here to de-educate our family where it has to deal with what these people have been out here teaching as a hoax, what they claim status correction is, and we're going to re-educate our people and bring them into a clear conception so that they also know what it is that we demonstrate. We ain't going to mislead you. We ain't going to tell our people nothing that it ain't. That way we won't have you having no expectations of a sham. You see, we are in an embryo state, and we are referred to as an embryo nation. So we have already been accepted as a nation, and we are unfolding right now as a nation. And as we stated last night, it's nothing to be afraid of. It's nothing to feel like you being alienated about. The only thing that is upon us right now is most of our people have never been thinking on this level, because we've been told that we were citizens, of the U.S. of A. And our beloved brother Malcolm, brought a grand measure on the manifest, even in regards to dealing with that so-called assumable jurisdiction of a status, that we call all other persons. You see? So if our people want to remain in that state of being all other persons, then that's what they want to do. But for those who are truly about building a nation and nation building, then let's build. You see? And that's what we're doing right now. Stone by stone, brick by brick, block by block. We are building up the consciousness of our people. So everything that you have received up until this special point was to give you a clear conception of this. And we ask that our family demonstrate the same. Be sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe if this is your first time tuning in as well. Or if you're already here, make sure you flood, whatever you can by copying and pasting this special link, in your particular area, so we can break through these algorithms. I will be here demonstrating, and we can make this a group effort, you see. And basically I tried to clean up my measure. I still got a little bit more to clean up, but we'll see how this particular drawing goes and see if we can move through without interruption. If we are interrupted, then we will know, what we have to do, the same thing we've been doing, chime out and tune back in. But I don't have a lot of windows open. And like I said, I cleaned up a lot, so all is well. So let me get into tonight's drawing, family. Our subject title again is Black According to Science Means Deaf According to Law. And the reason why, I'm going into this special drawing is because many have criticized, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. They have criticized the Moorish Americans because of this point in the questionnaire, without having knowledge of what is actually meant by this statement. Last night, after what we revealed, our family already know what time it is. So if you was looking last night, then you understand exactly what we are referring to. We're not attacking our people. We know that the term black is just a description. It's just a label. It also became a condition under which we suffered as a people. And this is where you understand why truly Black lives don't matter. You see what I'm saying? Even though they tried to come up with a movement, we have never mattered to anybody. And that's why we have been mistreated by everybody. You see, that's just the truth. Either we can accept that or leave it alone. But nevertheless, we're going to give it to our family tonight. And we're going to go deep into these terms. We're going to go deep into the terms Negro, Black, and Colored, NBC. We showed you last night under the Negro Act 1740, because there were laws that were known as Negro Acts. We can start with that term first and foremost. So let me do it like this here. We're going to do it like this right here. We're going to go ahead and share the screen. And this information is out there. It's all over the place. So I'm just showing you some of the places you can just tap right into it. There's deeper sources, but we can take you right there. All you got to do is put the term Negro Acts up in here, just like I did. And see, it says South Carolina passes 1740, Negro Act of 1740. So there were all types of Negro Acts, You see? So if you just type in Negro Act, it bring all of this up. So it says, what was the purpose of Negro Acts? Let's see. The law prohibited enslaved African people from growing their own food, learning to read, moving freely, assembling in groups, and earning money. It also authorized white enslavers to whip and kill enslaved Africans for being rebellious. All right. So let me ask you this question right here. For those who think, that this time is long gone and over with. If, the Negro Acts are long gone and over with, and that's it, and we don't have to deal with that no more because we have been free since 1865, and it tells you what the purpose of the Negro Act was. Okay, this is a law that prohibited enslaved African people from growing their own food. Now ask yourself right now, even though you're supposed to be free, can you just get out there and grow your own food like you want to without being harassed? Or are you still subject to somebody else's assumable jurisdiction because they say that the land belonged to them? And you got to purchase land from them, and then you have to license yourself in the land, or you're going to be locked up. Now, most of the time, the European can get away with this without having to deal with none of that, but the laws were established for us and not them. That's why they can flourish and become wealthy, and we wonder why it is that when we do grow our own, we do produce our own, it's hard to break through or even get in the industry of distribution, and doing just like all of the big businesses have done. They will never allow you to do that. It tells you the purpose, of what this is. So if they made a law to prohibit you from doing this, there was a reason for this. So they can feed you, and whatever you feed come from them, and ain't no telling what they put in the quality of what it is that they give to you. And next thing you know, you got all type of disease and illness and everything else. You see? This is one aspect of letting you know that we ain't been demonstrating self-determination. We don't know nothing about it. Second, learning to read. This was also a purpose of the Negro Act. Prohibited enslaved African people from being able to read. Right now, they're trying to take everything that has to do with our history out of Western academia. So you better buy all the books that you can and have them in your possession, and protect them with your very life if it come down to it. But yeah, this is one of the reasons that the Negro Act was on the manifest. You see? Moving freely. You were prohibited from moving freely, just like right now. Don't make no difference how much money you got, what type of celebrity status that you have. You can't move freely as you want to. You still subject to somebody else enslaving you and telling you where you can go. We ain't gonna sugarcoat it. We're gonna give it to you blood raw. We ain't trying to use no special terms or none of that. We telling you what's going on. Assembling in groups. What about that? Well, we already know that even when it come down to being high paid in the European arena of jobs and occupation, you can't even gather together on your lunch break. And they see you together, then they're going to try to pull you apart and put you back to work in most cases. Find something for you to do during your lunch break. But nevertheless, you can't be at lunch together. Don't leave on your lunch break together, because you can guarantee you somebody out of that group that may have a position of administration going to be called, oh man, it's time to go back to work, y'all. But you free though, huh? You's a free. I's a free, huh, massa? Right? What about earning money? Yeah, we already know this right here. You can't even earn money legitimately. We ain't got to get into the aspects of our people that's out there trying to earn fiat on the illegal realm. We already know, even though some of the same things that they have been in prison for Romans are getting away with that right there like it ain't nothing. You see, it's only you, legitimately or illegitimately, that has to have a cap on how much you can earn and how much you can make. You know, you must be controlled. So ask yourself, this was 1740, but be honest with yourself. It's not whether they try to make it look like you still got some freedom and, you know, you can do what you want to do. Do you not see right now that you still being held under this law right here? Now notice it say it also authorized white enslavers to whip and kill enslaved Africans for being rebellious. And being rebellious means thinking on your own. Being rebellious means thinking outside the box. Being rebellious means being one who exercises their own ingenuity. Being rebellious means doing what Master told you not to do, or whatever is against the status quo. And they trying to make it remain that way right now. You know, the Constitution basically has always been suspended for us. They're going to suspend it. When it comes to us, we already been outside of the constitutional fold of the law. That ain't nothing new to us that know better. You see what I'm saying? So this is the Negro Acts. You know the purpose of it. So what other leader has told you anything about you not being a Negro? What other leadership has told you this and made this core doctrine in order for us to understand, like Prophet Noble Drew Ali did? You see, our beloved brother Honorable Elijah Muhammad was a student of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. You know, and he used terms such as so-called Negro, so-called colored. And he also knew the definition of the word black as well. He even told our people the black man was mentally dead in need of resurrection. Blind, deaf, and dumb. You see? In need of resurrection. So he and both Prophet Noble Drew Ali said the same thing about the black concept. So since that was mentioned too, and we talking about black according to science mean deaf, let's go into this drawing. What does black mean? Well, we went into that last night. But let's go into the definition of black codes. And these things are real now, family. This ain't nothing fake. Let's go back to Negro Acts. We already showed you what the Negro Acts said, but didn't they tell you that the Moors were not subject to these Negro Acts? In this particular document right here that we read to you last night, didn't it tell you that we weren't subject to this? See, the term Negro is confined to slave Africans. Then they put in parentheses here, the ancient Berbers and their descendants. Then it says it does not embrace the free inhabitants of Africa, such as Egyptian, Moors, or the Negro Asiatics. So that lets you know they distinguish the Negro Berbers from the Negro Asiatics. And the Negro, they ain't say Negro Moors are the Moors and the Egyptians, so to speak. You know, this was under the Negro Acts. You know, and the status of the Negro, his rights and disabilities. Ain't that something? You know, now we thought that we had to grow old to be disabled. But we find out all we had to do was be born to be, goodness gracious, all we had to do was be born to be disabled. Look at all this here. To be sold as cargo, Negroes, prime healthy. We got some healthy Negroes to be sold. You know what I mean? Come on, man. And you can go all over the place and see what the Negro was subject to. How can you forget this? How can you look over this? Everybody want us to bear witness to what they have suffered, you know, and put their struggle above ours. but yet ignore what it is that we've been through and what we still going through right now. Even some of our own people, they call it negativity for us to point out this history, for us to point out how we have been treated and how we are continuously being treated. They want to wish this away, but yet still treat us the same way. You see what I'm saying? And we think that if you just don't say nothing about it, you can wish it away. Or if you say something about it, some harm gonna come to you. You know, so we got a bunch of intellectual cowards amongst our people who fear standing up in the paint. Man, so many of my brothers and sisters have died before me and during my time. We don't fear that. The great God Allah is the one that determined when we leave here. You see what I'm saying? You can't die no harder than you've been dying. So we don't care nothing about that right there. Ain't no fear over here. When it's my time, it's my time. And I say that because I mean it, not because it's tough talk. You understand? Make no mistake about it. So we got to come up out of that state right there, family, where we fear standing up and speaking the truth, being the truth, you know, because of what we feel somebody gonna do and all that. I ain't never been nobody. Praise be to Allah for not having me in a state of fear. And Rome know me. Rome know my pedigree. You see what I'm saying? And I let them know it anytime they get out of line. I don't say that from a radical standpoint. I don't say that from a standpoint of hatred. I say that because I demonstrate, like our brother Park said, a coward dies 1,000 deaths, but a soldier dies but one. You know, so you're already dead. So what you scared of? You've been walking around mentally dead for the last 400, 500 some odd years. A zombie talking loud but saying nothing. Can't nobody hear you. You like the voice of one crying out in the wilderness. You sound mute to everybody else. Nothing you say carries power. Nothing you say carries weight. So you look for somebody else to speak for you, and not somebody else among us, but you look for somebody of other ethnicity to plead your cause in order to validate your struggle. This is what you've been doing. Yes, it is. And that's why we're in the condition that we in. We got a lot of brothers that like to sow division and sow conflict and confusion. And they don't want to put anything of worth into our people, into the youth, so much so to where our sisters look at us as weak, as creek water. And they're right in most cases, because half of these individuals, for 30 pieces of silver, they'll do you just like Judas did Yehoshua. And I see through a lot of them, because I'm cut from that cloth. Sometimes I feel like I'm the last of my kind. You see? But anyway, let me get back on point, because I'll be done, boy. So anyway, let's go right here. We understand what Negro acts are. So what are black codes? Black codes restricted black people's right to own property, conduct business, buy and lease land, and move freely through public spaces. A central element of the black codes was vagrancy laws. And you got to understand what a vagrant is. Vagrancy laws. States criminalize men who were out of work or who were not working at the jobs whites recognized. I mentioned this last night now. So you were considered a criminal if you didn't have a job. But the same people that created the conditions for you not to have a job was the same people that was calling you a criminal. So they force you into breaking the law that you didn't even know you was breaking. Vagrancy laws are what they called them. You see? We were criminalized from the womb by receiving the labels of Negro, Black, and color. This is why we tell you, you have to stop taking them titles. These are labels for the property that was made in the USA. Not born in the US, but made in the USA. Who made you? That's why Prophet Noble Drew Ali asked the Moors that question. Who made you? Allah. Now, somebody else might have said they made you. Somebody else might have claimed ownership of you. But no man has a power to strip that from you, which the great God Allah put in you, unless you believe that their power extends beyond that of the great God. You see, so I guess all of those who are out of work right now know their status. You automatically criminalized. And in most cases, when you see someone that's unable to provide for their family and put food on their people's table, their family's table, then yeah, you may have well created somebody that might become a criminal. But from what I understand, in the same book that they claim to be the book of their Lord, one that we was prohibited to read at one time, there's a measure in the Piscean records that tell you, don't call a robber or a thief who's stealing because they need to eat. This is what the Bible say now. Don't call them robbers and thieves if they doing it to eat, and you the reason why they can't eat. In desperation, people would do anything. And so we got a bone to pick with our people who like to criticize our people. We don't promote them going out there doing harm to our people and harm to anybody else and harm, to nobody. But we ain't gonna act like we holier than thou. Like we don't know what's going on. Because if it wasn't for poverty, there would be no thieves. There would be no criminals. If it wasn't for poverty, there will be no jealousy and hatred and all of these types of things that we have to deal with in our community. Most of the time, the European don't have to deal with that because all of them doing all right. They doing so good to where they go to church when it's convenient for them to go. They don't pray to the Most High to give them the blessings that they have because they already got them in their mind. We are praying people. So much so I told our people that even when we was out there doing the dirt and putting in work, as we would call it. I know I used to be out there in my youth, gun in hand, in the passenger or the bike seat, and at the same time praying to the Most High saying, please don't let me have to hurt now one of my people. Literally. All I'm trying to do is provide. You know my intent, God. Don't put me in a position where I have to harm, because if I have to do what I got to do, I'm going to do what I got to do. I'm just trying to provide for my family. You understand? They don't know what it's like to live like that. They don't know what it's like to be on that level. They don't know what it's like to have their homes turned out with drugs and have a house full of those who are victims of drugs. They don't know that. You understand? And all of the people that have been sentenced by a European to 20, 30, 40 years, taking their lives away, taking them from the family, creating the problem, and then they're going to bring the solution. Create poverty. You try to get yourself out of poverty. They throw the drugs into the community. You pick them up, and they receive the funds from you, end up paying for a lawyer or whatever, taking it back, putting it back out there again. And they ain't never had a family member that had to experience what it is that most of us had to experience. They'd never seen their family members' lives being taken, being shot down in the streets by their own kind, those who are so-called law enforcers or code enforcers. They ain't seen that. You understand? Our brother Martin Luther King talked about one being, crippled and being condemned for not being able to walk. That's cold-blooded, family. It don't get no realer than this here. We're going to talk straight to you. And if you can't relate to this, it's because you ain't cut from that cloth. And this is very harsh on your ears if you had a silver spoon in your mouth all your life. So this ain't meant for you. And if you don't have the empathy and the sympathy, sit down and be quiet. And let the ones who are here to strive for what's right change the condition of themselves and change the condition of their people. So black codes restricted black people's right to own property, conduct business, buy and lease land, move freely through public streets or places. You could move even right now. You can't buy land and lease land like you want to. Even when it comes to going into the bank getting loans, it's certain loans European gonna get and certain ones you ain't gonna get at all, based on where you come from. And if you find what you think is a loophole, that still ain't a loophole because the European don't have to deal with all that. All of the codes and the laws were created for us. They can waive those laws. In most cases, they waive them. You see? Especially if they part of their little secret society. That's all them signs and symbols demonstrate. Hey, I'm one of you. I'm part of the club. Cut me a square deal. All right, buddy, I almost give it to them for free. How do you think that you see a European? They got a 200, maybe $1 million house and probably 15 foreign cars. And you struggling just to pay for a used car. You struggling just to pay your rent. That right there should be a sign to you to let you know they live by the laws they create and we die by them. And most of our people live their whole life on a hamster wheel, running nowhere fast, hoping one day that they'll get that big break. In most cases, when you go and you gas up at a store, I guarantee you see 5, 6 people over there trying to play the lottery. Spending hundreds of dollars, hoping that they can hit that lucky number. You see? So I ain't doing nothing but telling the truth right now. That I know it's hard to swallow. So when you accept this term black, know that you accept the codes that come with it. And these codes were passed in 1865, family. Soon as the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, these codes were signed to they free, but we got to restrict their right to own property. We're going to restrict their right to conduct business and buy land and lease land and move freely. So were you really free? And this is not where these laws originated, family. Anytime you're moving through the public and you wonder why you being circled, people feel like they can ask you, where you going? You live in the community. They know you live there. What are you doing over here? I seen so many videos. Y'all done seen it. Y'all done seen Karen in action. And Kenny too. You see? This real spill, family. For no reason. You can be one of the good, best people. It is good in character and everything. Don't mess with nobody. And them people gonna find a way to stir up the ethers to let it be known that they want to make you feel like you still a slave. You can just be moving through the grocery store with a basket. Is there anything that I can help you with, sir? All the while, they really sworn trying to see if you're trying to take some of their property or whatever, because that's how they look at you. Even if you're dressed in your best, sometimes that make them want to come at you even worse. So when you look like money, they do it on purpose. You understand? You know what I tell them though? When they ask me, they say, excuse me, sir, can you help me? I say, yeah, you can help me pay for it. And watch how quick they, oh no. I said, no, come here. You asked me, did I need some help, right? You can help me pay for this. You want to help me pay for this? Oh no, man, I ain't gonna help you. All right, thank you. Have a nice day. That kill them every time. Hit them with that right there and watch what happens. Next time they ask you, excuse me, sir, can I help you? Say, yeah, you can help me pay for this. But Islam, family, Islam. You know, so the black codes in 1865 actually go back, family. I'm gonna show you how far they go back. You know, without going into this, you know, they actually started here. And they were known as the Code Noir. They were still known as the Black Code, you know, but they were known, see right here, Code Noir. Before 1855, they were known as the Code Noir. And this was 1685, signed by King Louis the 14th, 1685, and was a set of laws that governed the practice of slavery in the French colonies around the time when many European governments in North America were defining the legal status of enslaved black people. Now, I went into the Code Noir a couple of times with our family. You know, it's a long document, but I can show you a few of the things in here. You know, and they talking about some liberty, equality, and fraternity. You know, freedom, justice, and equality, huh? The Code Noir, the Black Code. I'm going to show you some of these things. I ain't going to go into all of them, you know, reading them. You can study them on your own time. So before there was black codes in 1865, there were black codes in 1685. And notice what it says. The Code Noir initially took shape in Louis XIV's edict of 1685. Although subsequent decrees modified a few of the code's provisions, this first document established the main lines for policing of slavery right up to 1789. So we can see that the Code Noir, Black Code of 1685, had the same purpose of the Black Codes of 1865. Where do you think they learned them from? In the detail of these codes, if you read through all of them, you're going to notice that they are actually the same practices or designer laws that they use right now on all of our people. Look at what it says. The very first article expels all Jews from the colonies. And this comes all the way back from 1492 when the Moors had been expelled. And so these were your Philocians and your Sephardims, not those Zionists, but the true people that were called Moorish Israelites, you know, or Moorish Philosa, you know, the tribe of Judah, the real deal. The very first article expels them from all the colonies. They played a significant but hardly dominant role in the Dutch colonies of the Caribbean region, but were not allowed to own property or slaves in the French colonies. The edict also insisted that all slaves be instructed as Catholics and not as Protestants. For the most part, the code concentrated on defining the condition of slavery, passing the condition through the mother, not the father. And this is the same reason why the woman is dominating, you know, under their so-called head of the household concept right now. You know, your word is nothing. So they take our sisters and put them in a position to make them feel as if they don't need us. And in most cases, in order to get any type of assistance, they have to deny the man. You see? Why is that a prerequisite? Because they know in most cases The man is already broken and institutionalized when it comes to the financial system of systemic oppression and unemployment. All this stuff is by design, family. Unless you can shine some good shoes, and they'll keep one of you as a token to say, see, we got one that worked for us, but they'll go through many testing you, pressing on you to see which one of y'all got that Uncle Tom mindset, that Negro mindset, that yes sir boss mindset. And in most cases, they make them feel like they well off, make them feel like they living like them. And these are the ones that you mostly see in the media running their beak and yapping, talking about our people ain't enslaved. They just in the condition because they chose to be that way. Anytime you hear somebody speaking ignorantly like that, family, they benefiting from the oppression of our people. And they done already sold out, and most likely they got an interracial partner that they dealing with. Just being honest with you. That's the way it goes. We're going to give it to you blood raw over here. Passing the condition through the mother, not the father, and establishing harsh controls over the conduct of those enslaved. Slaves had virtually no rights, though the code did enjoin masters to take care of the sick and old. And the only reason they're doing that, because by the time you get old, you done been so conditioned, you can raise up and train up some more Negroes to think just like you. So notice what it says here. March 1685, recorded at the Sovereign Council of Saint Domingue. Domingue, in the 6th of May, 1687. Louis, by the grace of God, King of France and Navarre, to all those here present and to those to come, greetings, in that we must also care for all people that divine providence has put under our tutelage. We have agreed to have reports of the officers we have sent to our American islands studied in our presence. Now notice they say our American islands. So this lets you know the connection between France and the United States. I thought they was fighting each other. These reports inform us of their need for our authority and our justice in order to maintain the discipline of the Roman Catholic and Apostolic faith in the island. Our authority is also required to settle issues dealing with the condition and quality of the slaves in the said islands. Sound like the Willie Lynch letter, don't it? We desire to settle these issues and inform them that even though they reside infinitely far from our normal abode, we are always present for them, not only through the reach of our power, but also by the promptness of our help toward their needs. For these reasons, and on the advice of our council and of our concerned knowledge, absolute power, and royal authority, we have declared rule in order that the following pleases us. Article 1. We desire and we expect that the edict of 23rd of April 1615 of the late king, our most honored Lord and Father, who remains glorious in our memory, be executed in our islands. This accomplished, we enjoin all of our officers to chase from our islands all Jews who have established residence there. As with all enemies of Christianity, we command them to be gone within 3 months of the day of issuance of the present order, at the risk of confiscation of their persons and their goods. We're going to take them and their property if we catch them. Article 2. All slaves that shall be in our islands shall be baptized and instructed in the Roman Catholic Apostolic faith. So for those of you who claim to be Christians and followers of Christ through Christianity that hear me right now, if they had to force this on you in the beginning, what were you before it was forced on you? Answer that question. Kuta Kinte, huh? Roots, huh? We enjoin the inhabitants who shall purchase newly arrived Negroes to inform the governor and intendant of said islands of this fact within no more than 8 days, it says, or risk being fined an arbitrary amount. They shall give the necessary orders to have them instructed and baptized within the suitable amount of time. Article 3. We forbid any religion other than the Roman Catholic Apostolic faith from being practiced in public. We desire that offenders be punished as rebels, disobedient of our orders. We forbid any gathering to that end. See there? Same thing that came into the black laws, right? In 1865. You can't get together, you can't gather. You understand now why every time you get into a clique, it can be 10 or 12 of you, just not even a big crowd at a park somewhere, and Rome gonna pull up and step down to break that up. Most time they'll probably try to call it a gang gathering. You can be a grown man out there. They're gonna come out there and see who they can harass. Can they find some open containers and take somebody to jail? Same thing. This go all the way back, family. And it has become so much of the norm, and they done basically use the same law so much to where now it's normal. And they do it and get away with it legally. All they got to do is call it a drug-infested environment. Well, guess what? Anywhere our people live, where they don't have a lot of money and they below the poverty line, it's considered a drug-infested environment. So they have probable cause to jump out and lay their paws and hands on you based on that. But anyway, it says, we forbid any gathering to that end, which we declare to be conventicle, illegal, seditious. Basically what they declare to be illegal and seditious and, subject to the same punishment as would be applicable to masters who permit it or accept it from their slaves. So in other words, they were putting pressure on the slave owners, as well, that if you let them gather, and congregate, even though we way over in France, we find out you letting them people gather and come together, we at you too. Y'all seen the movies like Rosewood, and how even though Europeans seen people was wrong and knew they was wrong, and they owned their slave, they still had to do what was said, even if it meant you being took off the count. They had to stand in silence. Article 4. No persons assigned to positions of authority over Negroes shall be other than a member of the Roman, Catholic, and Apostolic faith. Now you understand why every time you get out there and you in a place of business, and you working under the auspices of Rome, it's always a European that got to be in authority, huh? And a master who assigned these persons shall risk having said Negroes confiscated. Arbitrary punishment, leave it against the persons who accept said position of authority. Article 5. We forbid our subjects who belong to the so-called reform religion. They talking about Islam, and Judaism, the ways that we was practicing our ancestors' way, basically. Those who belong to the so-called reform religion from causing any trouble or unforeseen difficulties for our other subjects. In other words, they don't want you affected in the way that they think. You see, so this was put into their indoctrination from the very beginning, that anybody that's knowledgeable of our culture, they got to be counseled. So this was already a part of the agenda. They just get away with it now, and they got our own people siding with this nonsense. Agents and agent provocateurs, Judas goats, leading our people to the slaughter while their lives are being spared. You see? For our other subjects even for their own slaves, in the free exercise of the Roman Catholic and Apostolic faith at the risk of exemplary punishment. Article 6. We enjoin all our subjects of whatever religion and social status they may be to observe Sundays and the holidays that are observed by our subjects of the Roman Catholic and Apostolic faith. Now you see why you celebrate Christmas and Thanksgiving and everything. They say, you see why you get off on Sunday, huh? We forbid them to work, nor make their slaves work on said days, from midnight until the following midnight. They shall neither cultivate the earth, manufacture sugar, nor perform any other work at the risk of a fine and arbitrary punishment against the masters, and of confiscation by our officers, as of much as sugar worked by said slaves before being caught. So this is why they made Sunday the day of rest for you. That's a practice of the slave owner as well. Article 7. We forbid them also to hold slave markets on any other market on the said days at the risk of similar punishments and of confiscation of the merchandise that shall be discovered at the market, and arbitrary fine against the sellers. Article 8. We declare that our subjects who are not of the Roman Catholic Apostolic faith are incapable of contracting a valid marriage license in the future. So you can only be married according to their law. We declare any children born from such unions to be bastards, and we desire that said marriages be held and reputed, to hold in repute as actual concubinage. So when you got marriage, they never honored it, they never respected it. It was concubinage. Right? Article 9. Might as well read it all. Free men who shall have one or more children doing concubinage with their slaves, together with their masters who accept it, shall each be fined 2,000 pounds of sugar. If they are the masters of the slave who produce said children, we desire in addition to fine that slave and the children be removed, and that she and they be sent to work at the hospital, never to gain their freedom. We do not expect, however, for the present article to be applied when the man was not married to another person during his concubinage, with this slave who he should then marry according to the accepted rites of the church. In this way, she shall then be freed, the children becoming free and legitimate. Article 11. And that was I don't know why they skipped over to Article 9 and went to Article 11. No, that's Article 10. I'm pardon myself. That's 10 in Roman numbers, so that's right. So this is Article 11. I said 9. But it says, we forbid priests from conducting weddings between slaves if it appears that they do not have their master's permission. We also forbid masters from using any constraints on their slaves to marry them without their wishes. It says, Article 12, children born from marriages between slaves shall be slaves. And if the husband and the wife have different masters, they shall belong to the masters of the female slave, not to the master of her husband. See what I'm saying? Article 13. We desire that if a male slave has married a free woman, their children, either male or female, shall be free as is their mother, regardless of their father's condition of slavery. And if the father is free, the mother a slave, the children shall also be slaves. So it didn't matter if a man was free or not, that man was to be powerless, and he still can't be no daddy. And that's still going on right now in the child support court. Article 15. We forbid slaves from carrying any offensive weapons. Now you understand why most of us were de-weaponized with felonies. It says, or large sticks, and they try to do this while you're in your youth. That's done purposely, at risk of being whipped or having weapons confiscated. The weapon shall then belong to he who confiscated them. The sole exception shall be made for those who have been sent by their masters to hunt and who are carrying either a letter from their masters or his known mark. So if you ever wonder why most of the time, brothers and sisters, that our young brothers, the majority of them are made felons, are basically put in a position or a status of convicted felons, this is done so that most of them can't carry, a firearm legally. They want to take that power from you before you even be able to get to come into manhood. You see? But anyway, Article 16. We also forbid slaves who belong to different masters from gathering either during the day or at night under the pretext of a wedding or excuse. Y'all ain't got no business getting together, either at one of the master's houses or elsewhere, and especially not in the major roads or isolated locations. They shall risk corporal punishment that shall not be less than the whip and the fleur-de-lis. People don't know what the fleur-de-lis is, but that's the actual sign, the symbol that you see on the side that the New Orleans Saints wear. That's what the fleur-de-lis is. I'm going to show it to you real quick. They used to brand slaves with this, if they seen them as troublemakers or if they was runners. You see? So let me see here. I'm going to put this in here so y'all can get it. See it right there? This is the fleur-de-lis right here. The same symbol right here. And they basically say it means royalty, culture, purity, light, virtue, and chastity. But it became a slave branding of basically the Catholic Church. When you got branded with that, you was basically considered a troublemaker. Like a tattoo that let it be known we got to watch this one. They like to gather. They like to do something. And for frequent recidivists, it says, and in other aggravating circumstances, they may be punished with death just for gathering, just for coming together. If you got caught at church and all that right there, you finna die. That's basically what they was demonstrating back then. A decision we leave to their judge. We enjoin all our subjects, even if they are not officers, to rush the offenders, arrest them, and take them to prison, and that there be no decree against them. In other words, they can do what they want to do and nothing happened. And that's what you see going on right now. So if you wonder why nothing ever happened when they do the things that they do to you, no matter how horrific, this is a part of the same system. So for all of those who been saying that you free, are you free? Do you still think you free? You still want to be a black man now? You want to be a Negro now? Because we just showed you what a Negro is. Now we showing you what a black man is. Now you understand why Prophet Noble Drew Ali said black according to science mean deaf. Do it make sense now? So it says, Article 18, we forbid slaves from selling sugar cane for whatever reason or occasion. See, they go that control over you being able to provide for yourself, even with the permission of their master, at the risk of whipping for the slaves and a fine of 10 pounds for the masters who gave them permission, and equal fine for the buyer. Article 19, we also forbid slaves from selling any type of commodities, even fruit, vegetables, firewood, herbs for cooking, and animals, either at the market or at individual houses without a letter or known mark from their masters granting express permission. The letters represented license back then. Slaves shall risk the confiscation of goods sold in this way without their masters receiving restitution, for the loss and fine of 6 pounds shall be levied against the buyers. Article 27. Slaves who are infirm due to age, sickness, or other reason, whether the sickness is curable or not, shall be nourished and cared for by their masters. In the case that they be abandoned, said slaves shall be awarded to the hospital, to which their master shall be required to pay 6 souls per day for the care and feeding of each slave. This is where your Medicaid and all that come in, huh? 31. Slaves shall not be a party either in court or in a civil manner, either as a litigant or as a defendant, or as a civil party in a criminal matter, and compensation shall be pursued in criminal matters for insults and excesses that have been committed against slaves. See that there? You can't even represent yourself in a law because you die by it. 33. The slave who has struck his master in the face, or has drawn blood, or has similar struck the wife of his master, his mistress, or their children, shall be punished by death. So all they got to do is lie and say you struck them, and they can take you off the count. Sound familiar, don't it? Article 8. That's 38, pardon self. The fugitive slave who has been, and I see they skipping certain articles. The fugitive slave who has been on the run for 1 month from the day his master reported him to the police shall have his ears cut off and shall be branded with the fleur de lis on one shoulder. If he commits the same infraction for another month again, counting from the day he is reported, he shall have his hamstring cut and be branded with the fleur de lis on the other shoulder. The 3rd time he shall be put to death. Article 39. The masters of freed slaves who have given refuge to fugitive slaves in their homes shall be punished by a fine of 300 pounds of sugar for each day of refuge. And I want to say this is 50 or somewhere around there, 50 something, the XL. It says the slave who has been punished with death. No, you know what? That's 40, I think. I want to say it's 40. Based on denunciation by his master, and who is not a party to the crime for which he was condemned, shall be possessed prior to his execution, assessed prior to his execution, pardon self, by 2 of the principal citizens of the island named by a judge. The assessment price shall be paid by the master in order to satisfy this requirement. The intendant shall impose said sum on the head of each Negro. The amount levied in the estimation shall be paid for each of the said Negroes levied by the tax farmer, it says, of Royal Western Lands to avoid costs. And this would be, I want to say 42. The masters may also, when they believe that their slaves so deserve, chain them and have them beaten with rods or straps. They shall be forbidden, however, from the torturing them or mutilating any limb by risk of having the slaves confiscated and having extraordinary charges brought against them. They didn't care nothing about that. They made wallets and everything out of our people. You know how many times they done passed them down generation by generation? How many Europeans you think own some wallets that were made from our ancestors and they say it was passed down to them by their grandfather? If they ever show you one, their great grandfather, and it was passed down to the other, and they trying to show you You know what they did to your ancestors. We enjoin our officers to criminally prosecute the masters or their foremen who have killed a slave under their auspices or control, and to punish the master according to the circumstances of the atrocity. In case where there's absolution, it says, and we allow officers to return and absolve master or foreman without them needing our pardon. Article, I want to say that's 44. We declare slaves to be charges and such enter into community property. See, this is where they declared our people property way before the second Black Codes, 1865. You know, they are not to be mortgaged. They are not to be mortgaged and shall be shared equally between incoheritors without benefit of the wife or one particular inheritor. So, you know, they would be arguing over slaves when they had divorces and stuff back in the days. Because you was their property, nor subject to the right, it says, of primogeniture, their usual customs of duties, feudal or lineage charges, or feudal or seigneurial taxes. They shall not be affected by the details of decrees, nor from the imposition of the 4/5 in case of disposal by death or bequeathing. Article, I want to say that is 47. Husband, wife, and prepubescent children, it states, prepubescent children. It says, if they are all under the same master, may not be taken and sold separately. We declare the seizing and sales that shall be done as such to be void. For slaves who have been separated, we desire that the seller shall risk their loss, and that the slaves he kept shall be rewarded to the buyer without him having to pay any supplement. This would be 45. The masters 20 years of age may free their slaves by any act toward the living or due to death, without their having to give just cause for their actions, nor do they require parental advice as long as they are minors of 25 years of age. And it says, Article 46, the children who are declared to be sole legatees by their masters or named as executors of their wills or tutors of their children shall be held and considered as free slaves. Okay. 48. We declare their freedom is granted in our islands if their place of birth was in our islands. We declare also that free slaves shall not require our letters of naturalization to enjoy the advantages of our natural subjects in our kingdom, lands, or country of obedience, even when they are born in foreign countries. And see, this is all showing you these people running around talking about they freedmen. They still on the breast milk of Lady Liberty. But anyway, it says, this was actually look like 50. We grant free slaves the same rights, privileges, and immunities that are enjoyed by free-born persons. We desire that they are deserving of this acquired freedom, and that this freedom gives them as much of their persons as for property the same happiness that natural liberty has on our other subjects. Now notice, this is a slave-making doctrine. You know, and you ain't free unless you're a free slave. What type of sense do that make? How you gonna be a free slave? Though that's why you can't let nobody else tell you you free. You were born free. But anyways, it says Versailles, March 1685, the 42nd year of our reign, signed Louis. And below, the king, Colbert, Visa Letelier. It says read, posted, and recorded at the Sovereign Council of the Coast of St. Domingue, kept at Petit Gove, 6 May in 1687, signed Mauricio. Code Noir, the Black Code, Liberty, Equality, Fraternity, exploring the French Revolution. See, this is why the chairman talk about the British, the French, and Morocco and all of them. He called them the three ruffians. America, I meant to say, Jubilo, Jubellum, and Jubilobum, Jubilee, and Jubellum. The chairman mentioned this in the Book of Fire. So these are the original black codes of 1685 that gave birth to the black codes of 1865. And they serve the same purpose, people. So they've been at this a long time, and y'all know them the same laws that's being enforced on us right now. They just got new names. Ain't nothing changed but the masters. So let me see what's going on with our family right here. Okay, yeah, get you some rest, brother Arnil Bay. If you still there, peace and love, family. Yeah. So let me go into this is special drawing. This is what we have had to suffer as a people. This is what we've been going through over here, what we still going through. And everybody want us to be sympathetic and empathetic about everybody else's struggle, but this has been our lot since we've been here. Like our brother Park said, we don't have family heirlooms that we are familiar with and family crests unless we can go and dig up our background. The only thing that we have as a representation of accomplishment is cotton. That's what our brother Park said. He even made a song called Black Cotton. You know what I mean? Man. But anyway, so now that we understand when we say Negro, black, and we talk about color, let's get into the color of the law before we get into civil litis mortis. You need to know what the color of the law is too. This is why we say we ain't no Negro, black, or colored people. That's why Noble Drew Ali put this in the questionnaire, right? So put some respect on his name. He knew this stuff, and you ain't heard no other leaders. This is why you are content in calling yourself by these different titles. And every 10 years, we receive another name that take us further and further away from the land. It says the color of law refers to the appearance of legal authority or an apparent legal right that may not exist. In other words, just based on the officer's statement. If they say you guilty, you guilty. If they say you did something wrong, you wrong. That's what the color of law is, people. It says the term is often used to describe the abuse of power under the guise of state authority and is therefore illegal, yet they still get away with it. So that's why we say we ain't Negro people, we ain't black people or colored people. Now, people can keep claiming them titles if they want to, and then wonder why you still suffering, wondering why you still considered 3/5 of a human being, mind, body, and soul having no nationality or divine creed. And half of our people fight against their nationality and divine creed. The very name that will free them, they fight against it and they embrace the name that has to do with their slavery and enslavement. You see how messed up our people, even the ones that's in the highest realm of education. And most of our people go along with it because they said so. Higher education is nothing more than higher training. That's what higher learning means, family, in the system of Rome. Being trained to jump through hoops and defend the hoop jumping when somebody call them out about it. That's all you do. You become basically eloquent in your own ignorance and you become an educated slave. thinking that you know more than other people, thinking that you are cut above the rest, not realizing you're being used as a tool of enslaving your people, and have so much cowardice and so lack of courage to where you say, well, even though I recognize what's being done, I'm going to go along to get along. I can't do nothing to change it. And I definitely ain't going to speak out because I seen what happened to those in the past who spoke the truth. And then you get out here and act like you speaking the truth, act like you'll stand for the people, but you ain't going to buck till the ceiling come off. You buck just enough for your people to think that you with them until you get put in a position to where you really got to show what you stand for. And then that's when your cloak come off, mask off. He was a house Negro from the beginning. She was a house Negress from the beginning. You understand? But me, I was trained to sniff them out from the time that I came from the womb. So I can see you, even if they try to act like they cut from the cloth that come out of the mud cut from. I can tell that they ain't cut from the cloth we cut from. And there's a lot of these people out here trying to teach our people that we have gave our listening ear. Half of these individuals is house Negro material. Half of them are enemy of our people. I don't have no mercy on them. And a lot of them right up there that a lot of y'all like to look up to and worship. I ain't talking about the people that's listening, that's intently trying to learn something that's over here, but I'm talking about the ones that may be listening that think that they are cut above because they got some Roman education, because they've been trained under the auspices of higher training. Yeah, Prophet Noble Drew Ali say, get a good European education, I can use you. But he was telling us to learn what not to do. Not assimilate and try to be them. Everything our people do, they try to be like Rome. Even when it comes to suppressing each other and oppressing each other. The tactics that they use, they learn that from Rome too. I call them Oreos, because of their exterior and their interior being different. But anyway, last but not least, the term civilita mortus. Now, all of these things can actually be studied extensively, and you can see how these different phases have affected us as a people, the quality of our lives. But I'm just giving you the term so that you understand, why the prophet said black according to science mean death. So we see we were considered slaves on the Negro Acts, the code of law, and the color of the law. So what is civilita mortus? Civil death is the loss of almost all civil rights by a person due to a conviction for a felony or due to an act by a government or country that results in the loss of civil rights. So why do you think that felons have to apply for civil rights in order to be considered a citizen? So if you consider a felon, you can literally be killed based upon that. You're already dead according to the law. You understand? But if you already been criminalized, civilita mortus apply to you already. You a convicted felon really before you become one. And if you ain't one, you'll be one. Civil death. This is all connected to vagrancy and them black code laws and them Negro Acts. Now you understand what is meant. It has nothing to do with this term that y'all done embrace with endearment, not even knowing that term comes from classifications of scientific racism. That term black and the term white, were terms that were given by the European. And they actually represent different statuses. They don't represent a race. Like I showed y'all last night, you don't see no black flag and no black land connected together. It don't exist. Sorry to break the truth to you. And they got you believing that because we say this, we hate ourselves. We hate we hate being subjugated to somebody else's law and being somebody else's property. The more you accept those titles, the more you push yourself into oblivion. Black people don't exist when it comes to dealing with being a nation. You can keep calling yourself that and saying that's what you is all you want to. And then years from now, you be wiped off the planet and nobody never know you was here. And then they have made you the scourge of the earth and debrief everybody that come over here. That's what you is. So even they have begun to treat our people. I done seen forums where I sit in there and look, man, they need to wipe these people off the planet. I'll be glad when these people are all dead. I'll be glad when these people are, these type, I done looked in many different World Star Hip Hop, YouTube. I done looked all over the place and seen these type of comments being made, family. And y'all want to act like it's all Uncle Dory. I ain't never been nobody to beg nobody for my life. I ain't no coward. I don't live in fear. And I don't want to be accepted by nobody that don't want to accept me neither. For those who think they free, ancient, and accepted. I ain't never been one that was codependent. Praise be to Allah for giving me a spirit of independence. That's why you can see me stand up here and be opposed by hundreds. And I stand firm on that. Anybody that watched me over the years, no matter how much opposition come against me, even amongst our own people, they 12, 13. Ain't nobody saying, man, y'all leave the brother alone. And I don't want them to say that. I don't feel bullied. I feel like the soldier that I am on the front line. Because I don't need no yes man with me. If I was the last one on the island fighting for this same truth, whether it's my people or the adversary outside of the ranks coming, I have the same position. And that's the problem with many of these weak, I ain't going to say that right. I like to told you something. A lot of these weak individuals that call themselves men that can't stand on their own. So they follow trends. They see 5, 6 people opposing commission, opposing me and what I'm saying, even though they know it's the truth. They cowards. So they don't know how to stand on their own and say, yeah, that brother is speaking the truth. Because they want to be accepted for likes and followers. But they don't know. I vowed years ago in my youth to love my people and teach my people. And if so, it be the will of Allah, die for my people. Real spill, family. That's the difference between me and them. You understand? But anyway, there is no death for the righteous. When I say that, I'm saying that basically I'm dedicated to my people, family. Ain't nothing you can do to scare me or move me. It don't matter who come against me, how many encamp, what type of threat they come with. I'm going to stand on this demonstration until it's time to ascend. Believe that. You understand? So that's why I say I'm the last of my kind. I'm the last of my kind. See, back in the day, I had a brother too create a boundless universe. Because he seen the soldier in me, one of my enlighteners. The brother was, part of the Panthers. He was taught by sister. He used to be with Auntie Afeni and Asada. And he seen my spirit. And he had become a follower of Ward-Dean Muhammad by that time. But he was a good brother. Brother by the name of Africa. Gave me a lot of history about New York because he was up there on 125th and Lenox. You know, a lot of the movies like Paid in Full and, you know, the history of Nicky Bond, Guy Fisher, you know, a whole bunch of different people. Edward Bumpy Johnson, he gave me a lot of that oral history before I seen the documentaries. You know, and he told me, because I used to be so fired up and ready, you know, because I was real militant in my youth. And he was like, brother, he said, you just like Ali. He was talking about Ali, you know, the cousin of Prophet Muhammad, because Ali was always ready to swing that scimitar, basically. You know, but he would be frustrated. You just like Ali. He would say it like that. You know, like, but the brother said, brother, I want you to, you know, you get a chance, read the book, The Spook That Sat by the Door. You know, and I never read the book, but I did watch the movie. And I say, oh, I see what Brother Africa was talking about. So in years, wisdom came, you know, and I was the spook for a long time sitting by the door. But now it's time to come to the manifest and give the truth to the people. And this is what we've been doing. You understand? Rome been on me when it comes to dealing with bringing this truth, you see? So we don't worry about none of that right there. But, you know, when it come down to it, we don't make no vain sacrifices. That's what I learned from the spook that sat by the door. You see what I'm saying? We don't make no vain sacrifices. You know, so that's what made me draw a veil about myself. You know what I mean? Draw a veil about myself, you know, and until it was the time appointed to come forth to the manifest and teach. And now that we out here, ain't no turning back. You know, and when I seen the way that many of our people was took off the count family back in the days, like watching the history of Brother Fred Hampton and all that stuff right there, and reading that stuff, reading it, you know, that's what really instilled in me what I have in me as well, because I said to myself, you know, for all of those who have fallen along to the wayside, I would dedicate the rest of my life doing my part and giving my people what has been placed in me. And like I say, we ain't dealing with no radical type measure. We ain't dealing with a drawing. We just telling our people they got to come together in oneness. Our unity is our greatest weapon. We don't need no physical weapon. All we got to do is unite. Our unity is our strength. That's what Prophet Noble Drew Ali taught us. You understand? When we come together in that unity, the ancestors and the great God will oblige us. But I can tell you right now that I also learned that Allah don't like no coward. A mastermind will never screen himself for the sake of reputation and fame, family. Remember that. So I'm going to show you something real quick. Now that we went through those different drawings right there, we're going to go into the Book of Fire and pick up where we left off last night. And this goes into the introduction because we went into the Negro and the Sardine. It states, and I'm going to be checking back periodically to make sure my site don't shut down. It says, Introduction. By proclamation of his inalienable right to have a nationality, the author is a free man, natural person, and sovereign. And this is his initial voyage into the writing of a book. It has been transcribed from the faith in the great God, the everlasting gospel and saving power of Ali, which can only derive from a knowledge of the new nation of people indigenous to the North American continent. A literary vision from billions of human prayers to say this book is not written in conventional styles, according to acceptable specification of Western publishers, indeed would be an understatement. This pen is being pushed by fulfilling the prophecies and timely consciousness to meet the answers to the prayers of the age and a nation's thirst for its stolen identity. Therefore, the only thing conventional about this book is the only word book itself. In fact, listed below is a small pre-glossary. Such lists are customarily found in the closing sections of the books, having need their definitions. However, since the purpose of this biography is the disinterment of a nation, it will be inappropriate to use the Undertaker's description of those he buried. To do so would be letting the criminal describe his crime, wherein the true values of the victim's loss are never paramount. For example, the word slavery is an English European description of what they say they did to the African nationals. This is a magnanimous misnomer and in no way reveals the African side of the times. The word slavery does not take into account the 1 billion West African families, tribes, nations affected by their loved ones, suddenly uprooted through the doors of no return. The word slavery does not include the Arab Muslim slave catchers, which sifted the West Africa interior of nearly 500 million relatives and then sold to European slave traders. That's why I keep telling y'all, it wasn't us that was selling us, it was the Arabs that was selling us. Get it together. This little known transatlantic slave fact is often found under the aegis, it says, of Islamic religion. The American concepts of slavery do not consider what brought about the Africans against Africans mentality that became the bloodline of the world's only production of Negroes, blacks, and colored people. African slavery cannot be defined as a Holocaust or mere bondage or ethnic cleansing or doing the will of a god, because the term slavery must be redefined. Let me make sure that we still, we still live. It says, history will show at some point every nation has suffered slavery. Moorish Holy Quran, chapter 47, ayat 16. See appendix. Referred to as Moorish Holy Quran, MHK, throughout this book. However, historical slaveries, as described in the Torah, Old Testament, or Holy Quran, albeit a voluntary bondage or involuntary servitude, or the selling of families to other humans, the word slavery as a single expression in no way accurately defines the total experience suffered by the former inhabitants of Northwest and Southwest Africa. Slavery today is basically a word which has been desensitized due to commercialization and political abrasion by the European nations. These watered-down versions of the worst institution of dehumanization ever to have been endured by a people has now also been adopted by the ex-slaves and their descendants and used to vaguely describe what was imposed upon their foreparents. Reggie, this is a never let a criminal describe his own crime. It will always be to his favor and never ever include the totality of the victim's loss. And that's what y'all been doing, letting the criminal describe the crime. How does one accurately define the past when it has been presented in a slanted, false, and different historical light? Obviously, the word slavery is insufficient, since its fiend and short-lived 3-year abolishment 1865. Today, it will be logically ex post facto to encompass the current psychological, judicial, and viral genocide warfare declared against the same free people. Slavery comes into various depths of evil. The deepest depth is psychologically occupied by images of God in human forms that have been made into slaves but do not know that they are slaves. This book's greatest task is not its sales, distribution, or validity of the contents. The mightiest obstacle is convincing a nationless people who are the United States of America 14th Amendment proudest citizens after 138 years that they are in fact still slaves. Worse yet, They perpetuate their enslavement by clinging to names, N, B, and C, that delude to slavery, albeit in the consciousness of every so-called black mind is a free Moor. The word Holocaust is a single expression used to describe the Germans' ethnic cleansing of the Jews. Yet the Holocaust, when compared to the Ma'afa suffrages endured by the Moorish peoples of West Africa during the entire history of the United States, is quite mild in numerical terms in years of duration. It is like comparing sandboxes to beaches, with everyone's attention focused on the sandbox. This is not to say any one evil is greater than another is, albeit the Jews have historically been cast on the stages of fallen humanity. Even those who claim to be Jews and are not, Revelation 2:9, never lost sight of their national identity. Neither did they have their God systematically removed from their minds and replaced with gods of whom they knew nothing. The very word Holocaust, although having an attractive sound effect, it is but a mere cup trying to absorb an ocean of muffled sufferings. Those Jews were totally unaware to have experienced being a once complacent people who recently found out it is they who are still smoldering from the fires of abolish slavery, only to find themselves comatose in mental slavery. What is Ma'afa? In the African language of Swahili, there's a word, Ma'afa, which means the great suffering. The difference between slavery and Ma'afa rests in the circumference absorbed by their meanings. Ma'afa takes into account the millions of African families, tribes, and nations still suffering the loss of their members and citizens disappeared through the western doors of no return. It holds reverence to those prematurely fertilized to the earth or perished during the Atlantic voyage and the slave-breaking islands Central and South America. More importantly, Ma'afa includes both the institutional wolf of slavery and its current legalized sheepskin suffrages of the 14th and 15th Amendments of the United States Constitution. The great suffering extends from the conscious fall of man into the Garden of Eden to the Comedian 300 BC invasion by Alexander the Greek into the return of the gods and goddesses to the Amexem kingdom of heaven. Ma'afa is ongoing until all slaves are free. Let me see if, okay, yeah, we still live. It states Ma'afa is an African attribute which reveals her total known and unknown demise under the iron hand oppression of the pale-skinned nations of Europe, which they politely call slavery. This is also the reason why politically corrected African Americans and their white counterparts dread or avoid dialogue to the event of slavery. The word, his word, does not hold the total truth of the experience by any stretch of fact or imagination. However, for the sake of understanding its ultimate lawful demise, the word slavery shall be mostly used throughout this text. Drew Ali used the word for the same purpose. Since this biography has a magnanimous goal of exhuming a nation, it will readily use the language at hand. But every time the word slavery is used, this author is thinking Ma'afa. Now, a reader is a reader because their main objective is to get into otherwise read the mind of the author. Important pre-glossary. Ma'afa, Swahili, means the great suffrage. Allah, Arabic, means the great God. The author and sustainer of all worlds seen and unseen, the creator of man in his likeness and after his image, the father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, the spirit of protection and guidance, spirit, infinite thought, truth, most gracious, most merciful, the God of Adam, Abraham, Moses, and all prophets, saints, Christ, angels, and man, the one God that Yehoshua called our Father. NBC, American English, meaning Negroes, blacks, and colored people. NBC, which also includes billions, Balalians, African Americans, and other denationalized Moors, etc. This is an abbreviation used throughout this book and will be referring to the legal and official slave names that were given to our Moorish from the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa after they were denationalized during the European controlled Mu'afa. NBC are not free national identities, but identify property and are mere misnomers used instead of nationality. NBC are mere subhuman differences in support of civil and political disunification among an enslaved people. Maya or Maya, Sanskrit, the term used in Vedanta for the power that veils the true divine nature of the self. Maya conceals the ultimate truth and creates the illusion that the real is unreal and that the unreal is real and the temporary is everlasting. The carnal eyes of Maya are ego and vanity. A character is formed by the mind's acceptance of Maya, and a person acts out of dictates of Maya, illusion. Still, Maya is what seems to be, but is not as is what it seems not to be. I further ask of the reader to be studious and diligent, especially in areas which may appear prolix or a bit redundant. It took the better part of the past 2,000 years, climaxed by the latter 4 centuries, to obscure the magnanimous constitution of a people into near ambiguity. It states this is an attempt to return the divine national roots to those special people. There's a reason for the burial of a great nation under the headstone legally marked Negroes, colored folks, and black people. It is hard to imagine that such a mighty nation laying dormant in a shallow grave while believing they share the same grounds as true citizens, but in actuality do not know they are below last class. They do not understand the true reasons why the harder they try to be recognized politically, socially, religiously, and economically, the more equality evades them. Actually, as a people, they are on the right track, only headed in the wrong direction. This chapter, like the book, is in depth and written with key points of reference to Noble Drew Ali. The name Noble Drew Ali and written or oral statements documented by the prophet will appear in bold letterings as much as possible throughout this scientific biography. This will help the reader to isolate the words, works, and teachings of this first conscious Moorish American national and distinguish his messages apart from those of the author. Albeit the author's intents are honorable, he realizes his human vehicle is subject to error. Therefore, a focused perception of Drew Ali is key, because as long as anyone sees him as a Negro, a Mason, a Mohammedan, or any form of a black noun or pronoun, etc., they will never know which way he went to attain freedom from the aftermath of mental slavery in the USA. Let me make sure I'm still here. Okay, we good. Okay. It says, Noble Drew Ali is none of these man-made things, and anyone equating him with these derogatory entities surely has missed the man, the angel, and the message. He simply is not there. He must be seen the straight way. U.S. history has proven all other avenues will continue to lead to different areas of the same buried NBC coffin. All this the 7th angel brought can be found in the little open book, as was left by this angel, Revelation chapter 10. These writings are but commentaries of his holy words. Therefore, to communicate these small portions of his mission in digestible layman language, it is necessary to write it in events, places, eras, and ethers of changing condition. Most prophets, although occasionally followed by many, are rarely understood during the advent of their lifetime. Often, it would take a century or more before the essence of an avatar sets into the human mind. Noble Drew Ali is not an exception to this balance. He has suffered much by these misunderstandings, largely false imitation by his own people and the general Western public. Here the reader is asked to place the times in the light of divine justice. Noble Drew Ali was born 18 years after the United States had recycled slavery under the color of law in the 14th Amendment. This book is an opportunity for the world to learn of God's greatest gift to modern America. Again, if the reader finds repetitive and sometimes similar statements or words within this manuscript, it is asked that they please be diligent in understanding. Describe divine love and truth from a pen is easier for adepts, more qualified than myself, because uncovering hundreds of years and layers upon layers of historical distortions, lies, deceit, cover-ups, hoodwinking, and death by European polytheistic legal doctrines is not laconically easy. It says, except for a holy prophet. I am not a prophet, just brother and a thought of the great God who sincerely loves self, Allah, and humanity. Plus, I am writing in English, which is basically the most renowned mutt among the languages of the earth. It makes revealing messages from the heart often appear obscure or misleading. So often being a layman writer, I may reiterate the same thing, yet from another perspective or with greater meaning. This is known in organized circles as CYA, covering your ass, making it plain or touching all bases. Nonetheless, the author enjoys simplifying complexities, and there is no danger of pedicalism because, it says because of limited expressions through the English language. Truth is, the revealed contents of this book have been so fragmented and jigsaw and buried until they were deemed beyond recovery and non-beneficial for the redemption of a people. As the missing 18 years of the life of Yehoshua was never to be known, for fear it would make free men, like so this great secret about the African Ma'afa secretly called the murder of Hiram Abiff, the ancient African god man, was also never to be known. Noble Drew Ali spoke often of slavery. Mostly he spoke of two kinds and two times of slavery in the U.S. The time of legal slavery, 1779 to 1865, and the time of mental slavery from 1868 that you have now. Today, the European descendants of former slave owners strategically avoid dialogue of slave issues with descendants of slaves. For the better part, most American minds feel massive overloads of anxiety wherever this subject matter appears. In fact, most modern Americans rather for slavery to just go away. It is in the past. Let it die. I had nothing to do with it. What's done is done. Can't change the past. What's slavery got to do with me? Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. Things are better for black people because they are citizens and can vote. There is no slavery in America today. Really? None of the above is true. The only true reason slavery would not go away is because the spirit of slavery is deeply rooted in the supreme laws of the United States of America. This is why the land of the free is also the home of the slave. Truth is, the NBC people are only made in America. Nothing created can know freedom until it lives in the perfect state of itself, or self. Therefore, the complete enslavement of the African people born in America will never go away until they are completely free to be themselves. The contents of this book will bring into light hundreds of little-known historical facts, secrets held by death oaths, and truths revealed in their due touch of time. Most of these will be centered upon planes of slavery untraveled by the professional and general public at large. The reader will travel from beyond the scenes of governments and religious empires of Moorish enslavement to the death of the Negro, colored folks, and black people of 1865 through the fabricated African-American citizen and the 135-year-old nation held hostage by the United States. There will be certain points of enlightenment that may be determined as highly sensitive, painful, or disrupted to some readers and members of sympathetic entities. Some topics may be received within a range of passions, from inflamed hatred to the planes of acknowledgeable joys that come with enlightenments. The light switched on by truth will intrigue the seeker temporarily and temporarily blind the sleeper. Equally so, the book is written for all from a heart of love divine. The love for myself, God, prophet, human beings, and the earth is the fiber from whence my words derive. I have no hatred or malice towards anything or anyone made by the great God. As for stated, I am a free man, and no man is truly liberated until he is a realized conscious love. This biography is written in honor of a true holy man who was divinely prepared to lead his buried nation upon the straight way from darkness into the marvelous light. The emphasis of these writings is on the uncovering of that nation. It says, and not the dirt which bears it. This author will be expounding or laymanizing the life works and teachings of Noble Drew Ali. There have been, as is today, many religions, governments, and organizations, educational, social, and scientific structures used to bury this nation. The words of this book are not intended to offend any of these entities or the people, which use them to seal this nation away from its rightful place in the human family. Indeed, these men were only fulfilling a 2,000-year prophecy of satanic rule that was ordained to shade the light from the consciousness of fallen humanity. But this is a new era of time now, and those who have been enslaved by deception, lies, and falsehoods can be freed from this system of mental incarceration. As Yehoshua Love told his cousin John, purity, the truth will make you free. Those feelings, rituals, customs, systems, and habits that are hurt by these written works should know the pride of emptiness is an abomination. If they are being emotionally or politically shifted, it is purely because an entire nation is being exhumed from beneath them. The focus is strictly on the body of the nation, which is buried there, not the people, laws, and events that envelop them. Since this nation is virtually unheard of and unrecognized, there are some questions arising which will demand sound and judicial answers. What kind of nation is it? What's the origin of this nation? Who buried the nation and why? What is its constitution, principles, seals, flag? Where is its land? What is the name of this nation? Who are its blood national relatives? What is its prophetic future? etc., etc. How many citizens in its census? The answers to the questions and thousands more will be answered within the annuals of the exhuming of a nation. This book is about a clean and pure nation, the unclaimed people, which Drew Ali and Allah alone proclaimed as Moorish Americans. Right? It says, Noble Drew Ali, as a prophet of Allah, took the English language and made it holy by using lofty words of wisdom. The author is one of his divine ministers and does not claim such omnipotence or grace. However, I am among the first to be free by the truths of this angel. Therefore, the language with which I write is both drawn by redemption and pushed by the needs of humanity. In the prophet's holy instructions of unity, it states, the gifts of understanding are the treasures of Allah, and he appointed to every one his portion, in what measure seemeth good unto himself. Hath he endowed thee with wisdom? Hath he enlightened thy mind with knowledge of truth? Communicate it to the ignorant for their instruction. Communicate it to the wise for their own improvement. Moorish Holy Quran, chapter 26, ayahs 1 through 2. In this book, I humbly share my portion of the one great understanding. It is an attempt to communicate the advent of Noble Drew Ali to both the ignorant and the wise. Noble Drew Ali was the first true and fully conscious historian, archaeologist, master parliamentarian, adept scientist of African descent to be born in America. He brought the true history of the ex-slave from the divine creation before Adam to the civilizing of the earthland. No other human being can make this claim to have brought the total truth and everything that it takes to save a nation by teaching them to be themselves, as opposed to what they are not. Sheikh Sharif Abdul Ali, being without a formal European education, is the foundation for all the notable leaders of African true histories and accomplishments and future. There have been volumes written, courses credited, and cultural awareness spun like a hurricane of knowledge from the quiet eye of Noble Drew Ali's wisdom. See Appendix Moorish Holy Quran, chapters 45, 46, 47, and 48. His life is his teachings, which he lived. And although his oral teachings were only mentally recorded by a few, not a word has been lost. Noble Drew Ali said, I have brought you everything it takes to save a nation. Now take it and save yourselves. Note, he did not say save an organization, group, or a person, but a nation. Rarely do ex-slaves in the United States think in terms of being a nation. The irony of this unnatural thought pattern is compounded when considering the so-called NBC is completely surrounded 24/7 by other nations of the human family. One would think NBC would figure something as a muck, with everyone having a nationality except them. But this is by design. Meanwhile, they remain constantly mistreated as a people. Note, according to the Bureau of Justice statistics released on August the 22nd, 1999, the number of persons on parole or probation exceeded 4 million. Adults numbered 3.4 million were on parole, 705,000 on probation or supervisory release. Is it strange that 43% of black males of voting age cannot vote due to a web of criminal records carefully spun judiciously across the United States? The National Criminal Justice Commission, a panel of criminal justice experts, community leaders, and scholars, released projections by the year 2020, 63% of all black men between ages 18 and 34 will be incarcerated. No one should be surprised at these projections. After all, this United States exploitation of Africa's sons and daughters is rooted soundly in Reconstructed Amendments, 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments. For example, the Federal Drug Sentencing Guidelines ratified by Congress in 1985 have exacerbated racial imbalance. Crack cocaine used proportionally by blacks carry mandatory minimum sentences 100 times more strident, it says, than the original powder cocaine used mostly by Europeans. At the current rate of balance between law enforcement and sentencing, the estimated goal projected by the NCJC will possibly supersede fruition of black male immobilization before 2020. Needful to say, this special age group is targeted not because of their vulnerabilities, it states, to the cocaine-baited traps of their communities, but because these are the highest production years when fathers and husbands are made. In brief, during the latter Clinton/early Bush years of 2000 to 2001, so-called blacks made up over 50% of the more than 2 million incarcerated in the U.S. Ironically, the so-called NBC who voted William Clinton into a two-term office at the White House are still dumbfounded when told that more of them were placed on lockdown during his administration than any other president in the United States history. See Illuminati. The political warehousing of the males of an especial people under the illusion of justice is still uncut genocide at best, especially when 85% of those remaining are targeted by AIDS, drugs, homosexuality, and miseducation, all sandwiched between mental slavery and serving of gods that are not their own. Meanwhile, each generation of so-called blacks for 150 years have been trying their gosh darnest to be the best United States Christian citizens they can be, not realizing their very best can only be a better mimic of someone else while their bread is being eaten by another, thus preventing them from seeing the light of being a nation. The NBC will never be a true or first-class citizen of the USA or any other free national government as long as they stay black. NBC were made in the good old US of A and were never designed to be anything but slaves. In the course of the exhuming of a nation, the readers will come to know the clean and pure nation of Moorish Americans was ordained in existence in the year 1865. All history should be viewed within the true consciousness of its era. In 1865, the telephone was 10 years away. Electricity was 20 years away. Radio and automobile was 30 years away. Airplane was 40 years away. The television, transistors, computers, and jet aircraft were all 80 years in manifest. It would take weeks and often months for vital information to reach the general population of the world. A Moorish code, it says mail and press were the fastest means of documenting events. However, most of the political substance in U.S. laws were contrived in secret arenas of lodges, private pubs, and chambers. Often, their real intent would not reach the public light for decades. Such is the case of the Reconstruction Amendments that were written expressly for the mass production of Negroes, blacks, and colored people to be exclusively made in the United States. Noble Drew Ali was the first to reveal the hidden datum and timing of these laws were mere reconstructed national deeds of ownership of persons, disassembled and manumitted slaves, taking advantage of the pre-dawning of an electrified information age. Who would ever know that the so-called Negro could never be a first-class citizen of the United States or any other free national government? As these truths are brought to surface in this biography, the ill-informed will be shocked, like the nocturnal nature of moles. The greatest sins and crimes of this modern era will be seen as dirt on the heads of slave master outlaws, disguised as officials, and many other hidden criminals will be uncovered by the light. The wicked will be dismayed at bats. Bats will fly into each other, it says, at high noon, screaming, "The Moors are coming, the Moors are coming." Yet America and the nations of the earth will be blessed at their deliverance. As you can see, this book is extensive, but it's an attempt to embrace a library of wisdom of the Moors into a single publication. So I'm going to stop right there. That's a lot of read, but the Grand Droid is here. We understand now the difference between being an NBC, being somebody else's property, and what it means to be a national and being a nation. You feel me? So at this time, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And I'm going to drop this link just in case somebody want to come in here, and give questions or comments or whatever the case may be. And while we wait for somebody to come up in here and jump on the link, if they so will, I'm going to go grab me some water real quick. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so we see our family just want to get the lesson. That's all right. All is well. Nothing wrong with that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring this demonstration to some closure so our family can get some rest. But man, now you know why we demonstrated black according to science mean deaf according to law. You know what I mean? Can't nobody dispute that. Only a fool would dispute that, and somebody that has no knowledge, of classifications and no knowledge of law. And this is part of the reason why our people continue to suffer. All we have to do is embrace our one free national name, family, as a collective, and we will be free overnight. So may your hearts and minds be open for the truth, and stop letting people tell you lies and mislead you, because of, their own selfish gain, so to speak. I already know I'm free. I'm good. I have reestablished myself within the family of nations, and I will reestablish my family lineage, so that they will be able to trace their pedigree, so to speak, back to the source. And so this is what we are here for. We're here to love our people and teach them their nationality and divine creed. That's what we teach. We teach nationality and divine creed. You ain't gonna hear us up here preaching, like no preacher. That ain't what we demonstrate. We here to teach our people nationality and divine creed. And the divine creed portion has to do with self-mastery. We're here teaching our people self-mastery. And that has to do with degrees of spirituality unfoldment, the adept deification of man. That's what we teach. So anybody telling y'all, they teaching the religion, y'all don't understand. You have no knowledge, of what it is that we demonstrate. If you think that we demonstrating a religious fanaticism over here, because that's not what we teach over here. We teach a balance between divine creed, again, and nationality. Because Prophet Noble Drew Ali established us as a divine and national movement. You see? So it don't get no plainer than that, family. We're going to go ahead and let y'all have this from right here. You know, I just want to say, Ankwajet Seneb, life, health, and prosperity be upon you all. You know, and keep up the good work, keep up the grand work, man. You know, the only way you can free the man is free the land. And the only way you can free the land is free the man. Our people ain't got nothing coming to them, you know, until they come together in oneness. I keep telling you, everybody think that this has to do with money and a lack of finances and all this here, but you can give a slave finances and see what they do with that. In fact, most of the youth right here are millionaires right now. We got youth running around out here in the streets, millionaires. They done made it from dirty money. Some of them made it from clean money. But look at the destruction among our youth with all of that money, all the material gain that they have. Most of them draped in the things that our people was trying to get years ago. You see? Driving some of the finest cars, 2 and 3 of them, living, you know, in the best homes and houses or whatever you want to call it, and they still killing each other off. Yeah, so we're going to hear from our brother briefly before we shut this demonstration off. We see Creator of the Universe is here. Peace, brother. What's the drawing with you?
Peace, more. How you doing this morning?
Oh, all is well, good brother. Getting ready to shut it down in a minute. What's going on?
Man, not a whole lot, man. Gratitude to you for the grand presentation, brother. Beautiful information. I just had a question.
Yes, sir.
Or several questions, maybe.
Go ahead.
The prophet tells us to do all old business under the old name.
That's right.
All new business under the new name. All new business under the new name.
That's right.
What, in your interpretation, does that relate to, and how does it relate to dealing with these colorable venues that we have to go in to deal with certain stuff?
Well, it actually means exactly what you just said. Deal with all old business under your old name and new business under your new name. That's what we instruct our family all the time. And I done instructed our people on numerous occasions, you know, just within the ranks of the government. Because we have people, you know, that have certain issues, you know, and we in an embryo state as we unfold. And, you know, you deal with it under the old name. For example, you got people out here that like to say, European ain't got no jurisdiction over, you know, and they get up here, I'm fighting the traffic ticket, so I'm going to go cause a bunch of hoorah, you know, which really don't make no sense, instead of just paying the ticket. That's how you deal with it under your old name.
Mm-hmm.
And dealing with it under your new name is make sure you don't find yourself out of bounds where you have to deal with Rome.
Okay.
You understand? But if you break a law, you know, of Rome's law, the prophets say by the time you break one of Rome's law, you done already broke here.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if you demonstrating as a Moorish American Muslim, in most cases, you'll get a favorable reply. But if you break the law, under Roman law, always deal with it under your old name for now. You know, because as we are unfolding in our as an embryo state, you know, we ain't gonna get up there, you know, when we ain't full in the capacity of what we supposed to be demonstrating, you know, and act like we up here as some sovereign state.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't do that. All you got to do is be your higher self, and you ain't got to worry about nothing.
Right.
Even when they pull you over, you know what I mean? You ain't got to, ain't even gonna take me out. This is my land. No, man. You know, they show you respect, you show them respect, keep it moving.
Right.
Anything outside of your control, you ain't got no control over anyway. You know what I mean? It don't matter what your status is. If they're going to get at you, they're going to get at you. You feel me?
Right.
You know, as far as dealing with any other thing that you got control over, deal with that under your old name.
Mm-hmm.
And we call it If we living under the prophet law, then Rome can't touch you.
Mm-hmm.
You understand where I'm coming from?
Right.
And
Right.
that's where most of our people find themselves. Some people try to come into the Moorish movement because they've been misled into believing that if they become a Moor, they can wipe themselves debt free.
Right.
It's a lie.
Right.
People been misleading them, and this is causing people to have a bad taste in their mouth when it comes to the Moor.
Mm-hmm.
Prophet Noble Drew Ali didn't never teach that.
Mm-hmm.
He told the Moor they were going to be taxed to death, though.
Yeah, and he also said, "Don't some of y'all gonna throw away your old name for crumbs?"
Yeah, he said they're going to throw away their one free national name for crumbs. That's
He
right.
said they're gonna throw away the slave name, the old name for crumbs. When he said he gonna use it to show where the slavery took effect,
And
and
that's why we say don't throw away your driver license and your birth certificate, because that's the smoking gun
right,
to prove that you was enslaved.
right. There you go.
All of those things right there, will be used as evidence when we go before the nations,
Mm-hmm.
that we were denationalized as a people.
Mm-hmm.
But if you throw it away, you're throwing the evidence away.
Right, they
You
go in there and
understand?
they go in there and they change the name on their birth certificate,
Yeah.
putting the Moorish name on it.
Yeah, but the thing is, I had somebody down here, running around with the tree of Lebanon. Then he was trying to build with me, but he was still trying to deal with them on Republic Moors.
Mm-hmm.
He went and erased his history, birth certificate, and gave it away. And next thing you know, all hell broke loose.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up getting locked up when he was actually head of the agriculture department down here at FAMU.
Mm.
And we was supposed to be using that as an apparatus to reach the people, and I would go up there and we would be building, but he was trying to fight something that I didn't know about that he was dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
And there was certain Moors down here in Florida trying to push that narrative like they can help him change that.
Right.
While I was telling him that wasn't the way from the beginning. I was telling him that was bogus.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And he came to me one day, yeah, I did this. I gave all my stuff up and that. And I didn't scold the brother. We were sitting in his car, and I told him, I said, brother, I said, I'm going to tell you like this. I said, you're going to lose more than you win.
Mm-hmm.
Then about a few weeks later, man, a lot of strange stuff been happening, man, since I gave up my citizenship and da-da-da-da-da, and all this here. And personally, I'm going to be honest with you, I felt that brother, I felt he was agent provocateur to a certain degree.
Right.
I felt that he was trying to get me to indulge in some things to him to be criminalized, because that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And then they try to put you in the twist. But I'm firm in what I stand on, so I know my spirit tell me when I'm dealing with certain things.
Right.
Last time I seen that brother, at a grand gathering, he was talking to Rome, and we spoke to each other. Because it was like a big event, the Harambe Festival here.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, man, the brother like, yeah, what's going on? But I can tell anything Moorish, it was gone.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it was based on him being hard-headed. And he, thinking what was going to work with what they were saying, because he's looking for immediate microwave treatment.
Right.
You understand? So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And another thing I want to ask you,
mm-hmm.
Where the Book of Fire, is the Book of Fire available on PDF?
Yeah, that's it. The one I got right there, the one I was reading.
Okay.
But I won't pass that out, and I'm gonna tell you why I won't pass it out.
Because they're gonna try to plagiarize the change.
They done already did it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They done already did it.
Wow.
That's the problem. It's people selling the chairman book on Amazon, and he ain't getting no money for it.
Wow.
And it's been like that for years. He done gave out copies to certain people to sell, and they never gave him no return on that.
Yeah, I got the physical copy of it, just the writing small, strain my eyes a little bit, but
yeah, you might need to get probably some reading glasses.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's what I be doing a lot of time. And straining is a sign to stop reading. Because I'm pretty sure in the beginning you be all right, but after a while your eyes go to doing it. Because it's like me, you know what I mean? If I keep reading for a long time, I have to stop because your eyes will start. That's just a natural part. You know what I mean?
Right. I hear what you're saying.
Mhm.
I think it's got something. Well, I know, and I know it's got something to do with the light, the artificial light.
That exactly.
If I sit outside in the sun and read it, I don't need to put no reading glasses on.
Facts,
I
brother.
can see it clearly. But if I'm inside with some artificial light with these
Yep.
bulbs, even though I try to get a high wattage bulb, uh, that's just not enough.
That's facts, brother. That's right.
Yeah. So I have noticed that. Yeah, but we ain't gonna talk too much. I just had those questions that I wanted to ask, and
Oh, those are powerful questions, good brother, and questions that need to be asked. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Yes, sir. So
mm-hmm.
yeah, all is well. You already know.
Yeah,
Don't-
yeah,
We
yeah.
gonna keep it coming though. We just wanted to answer that question because you know people try to hold that against us.
Right.
You know, the black according to science mean death. But I tell them all the time, you know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad say all the time, our people are dead in need of resurrection, but you don't see people holding that against him.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I know people they like to deal with selective research and selective hearing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Some
Yeah.
of them know what he meant, but they doing that right there to try to get one over on our people who love to use the term black.
Yeah, and when he say black man, he not talking about how they use it. When he say Asiatic black man, that he's not using in the context as NBC.
That's right.
He's saying we coming from triple darkness, from out of the
Yeah,
womb.
you know, I know that whole teaching.
Yeah.
You know, he say black is not a color, but the essence from which all color come.
Right.
You
Right.
know, and I got a lesson that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was demonstrating, where he tell you your nationality is not your skin color.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you are not the land either.
Mm-hmm.
He said that, you know, your true nature is being the God that you are.
Right.
And it's one called Who is the Original Man.
Mm-hmm.
He said, if we destroyed all of the European and wiped them off the planet of the earth, he said we'll still have a black hell on our hands.
Right.
You understand? So the
Right.
brother knew. Only reason he took that title and started using it is because you got to remember, he was there when Moors, you know, did harm to Prophet Noble Drew Ali. He was running for his life at the time,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and he also took the feds off for that reason. And he even changed the name of his own organization from the Allah Temple of Islam
Right.
because of events that took place. So he didn't want to be identified with the terminology nor the dress, you know, and things that they had been identified with previously.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of the Moors was under the radar. They was getting locked up, going to jail. One was getting took out the county. He was, like I say, running for his life. And that's why he changed it from the Allah Temple of Islam to the Nation of Islam.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
actually the Lost Foundation. It was actually Mohammedan Temple before that, but you know, then Lost found you know, Nation of Islam, and then you know, Farrakhan came and rebirthed it as it is in 1978.
Right.
You know, and his job was only to really, he tell you, he was his teacher's errand to teach the meaning of what he taught, make his message clean,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and clear to be understood. It wasn't Farrakhan's job to build a government.
Right.
That's why in his last speech, he referred to the United States flag as his flag.
Mm-hmm.
He referred to the United States government as his government. And I was on a panel with Farrakhan not too long ago, and there was some brothers and sisters trying to talk the talk of government. And he asked the question, what type of government is it that they looking for? You know, to let you know, when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said in the Theology of Time that there was going to be a new teacher and a new ruler that was going to come on the manifest, that alone rules Farrakhan out.
Right.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And then he said that it was going to be a new teacher. And he even said in the Theology of Time, he said that the teachings that he have read and the books he read would not be sufficient. There would have to be new teachings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the Book of Fire is pretty much the fulfillment of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that our family have to remove from their ego, you know, to accept that, embrace that. Because he also said that, you know, he was Elijah that was to come, and he was basically the forerunner,
Right.
the coming of God.
Mm-hmm.
And so we know that he wasn't talking about no spirit.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't talking about Farad Muhammad neither, because Farad Muhammad already passed form.
Right.
So he wasn't talking about him coming back. So the God man that was coming behind him would be a God man with a new teaching that'll be talking about government.
Mm-hmm.
And the only person that did that, who was also a student of his teaching, is the Grand National Chairman.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else that's coming behind that, saying it now, trying to be a government, they was either part of this, broke off, or seen us and tried to take a page out the book.
Right. Right.
You understand?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I feel personally that that is done on purpose, because that's the way Rome work.
That's the
When they know you're doing the right thing, they try to raise people up to convolute your message.
yeah.
That way they be confused and don't know which way to go.
That's the infiltration.
That's exactly what's been going on. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Because they know we right and we ain't hide.
Right.
Chairman sent, you know, our Declaration Proclamation to George Bush administration. He sent it to Obama's administration.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And let them know we successionists. Sent it to their doorstep. You understand?
Right.
So ain't nobody hide. Obama, he even sent Obama divine ministry documents and the Book of Fire.
Right.
Farrakhan was also given a copy of the book when the chairman was in Tennessee. Farrakhan has taught out of the book in his last speeches. Them speeches that he was giving,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of that stuff he was coming from the Book of Fire.
Okay.
But he can't tell them that.
Right.
And I used to be upset, like, why he won't just tell them? Then I say, you know what? It ain't his job to tell them that.
Mm-hmm.
But he did put it out there enough for them to know which way to go. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Because once he passed form, family,
Yeah. It's gonna be
trust me, a lot of them brothers and sisters gonna be in disarray.
Yeah.
And you know why they gonna be in disarray? Because they raised the brother on a pedestal so high to where it's gonna move them emotionally when he's no longer here. Because the same thing happened with him with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Mm-hmm.
Because he left the NOI and got it in the streets. He was slinging reefer and all that.
Okay.
You didn't know that?
Nah, I ain't know that.
Yeah, he tell you that he failed.
Yeah, I just watched the. I just watched the. I was telling you, the brother Omar Shabazz made the little documentary, and was talking about the mosque up in Boston.
Yeah. It was a lot, and that's another thing too. The brother, he loose some demons with what he did with Malcolm. He didn't have Malcolm hit, but he betrayed the brother.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, in other words, you know, that was his teacher. That's why I say betrayed him.
Right, I know what you're saying.
Malcolm taught Farrakhan.
Right.
You understand? That's who he learned from.
Mm-hmm.
But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was both of their teachers.
Right.
So when Malcolm spoke to him in confidence, he went to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and said what he said, and that's what spiraled the stuff into, you know, what was going on. He was like, yeah, brother, after Malcolm got through telling him what he had come across from Ward-Din Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad's son.
Right.
Because Malcolm didn't even know. And the letter came out later. He said, he told Ward, you seen the letter he wrote to him. He said if it would have come from anybody else, he would have killed him outright.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he told Ward. He said, you the reason I lost faith in your father.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and he tried to defend him, you know, even after the fact. But after he told the minister about it, He say, brother, I ask that you don't say nothing. He say, no, brother. He say, I won't say nothing to anybody else after I tell the messenger. You understand? He
Right.
knew what would happen when he did that.
Mm-hmm.
Because to be honest with you, good brother, you got to look at it. Farrakhan was fatherless. You know, he didn't have a father.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And he was looking for a father.
Right.
Brother Lawar D. Muhammad was jealous of Malcolm because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad showed him more love than
Right.
he was showing him.
Right.
So that's why he did what he did.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And that's why you look in most of the pictures, you'll see the minister standing up there, and he looked disgruntled when he was standing next to Malcolm.
Mm-hmm.
Just look at all the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that ain't to take nothing away from the orator that he became.
Right.
None of that. But we just telling the truth. And
Yeah.
so he stirred up them ethers, you know, them words that he put out there, even though it was other people like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's son, which is Elijah Muhammad Jr., the one that was really pulling the strings.
Mm-hmm.
He was on some gangster stuff. He
Right.
told him bring Malcolm Tom back in it. Why y'all ain't went and got that Negro head yet? That's who was really the one behind them Boston cats. You feel
Right.
me?
Right.
And
Right.
Farrakhan was just riding the wave.
Okay.
And he had been replaced over the mosque, but you know, he was a zealot. And he said some things in the public that he shouldn't have said.
Mm-hmm.
And once you put that stuff out there in the ethers like that, it don't come back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because he made some statements about, you know, if it had been, you know, the will and Elijah would have told him to leave Malcolm alone, his head would be rolling, you know, all that type of stuff.
Right. Right.
You
right.
know, and he denied any having hands in there, but he told him he spoke words that may have created the atmosphere for that.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, the problem I had with the minister, what made me go in opposition to him, because I used to defend that brother. I never been a member of the Nation of Islam.
Right.
But I would defend Farrakhan
Mm-hmm.
if somebody spoke against him, because I had that love for him, still love the brother as a brother.
Right.
And I had like overzealous love for him, even though I wasn't no NOI.
Right.
You understand? And I knew the teaching, still know the teaching of the nation. You know, but when I heard him do that video, did you teach Malcolm? Did you help Malcolm? Did you clean Malcolm up? You know what I mean? Did you put Malcolm out before the word? You know? And you know, if we dealt with Malcolm like a nation's supposed to deal with traitors, then what in the hell business is yours? You just stay out of it. That's what made me, you know, that's what made me step away from the brother.
Right. Right. Right.
You understand? Because even if you demonstrated like you did, you've been denying this, but then you get out there and you claim it like that, brother.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And then the nation to this day will still call Malcolm a hypocrite. That's
Right.
what I don't respect about our NOI brothers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because when they came to him and told the brother that when the FBI tried to get him to go turncoat against the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, it's on record Malcolm wouldn't turncoat against him.
Right. Right.
And when them brothers started bombing his home with his daughters in it, that's when all bets was off with the brother.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? That's what made Malcolm get on that level, like, you know, he was like, it's war now.
Right.
But he also understood that the NOI didn't have the power to do certain things when he went to Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
That's when he understood the enemy that was really after him was greater than that. And they had infiltrated the ranks of the nation.
Right.
John Ali was the main culprit.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Right.
He was an FBI agent from the beginning.
Right.
And there was 7 of them in there when Malcolm had got hit. One of them was giving him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation.
Right.
You understand? So, yeah, just looking at it from that aspect right there, it's all out there. It's in the, you know, media now anyway. The man confessed on his deathbed.
Right.
Crump on that right now. The brother out of my city, attorney, Ben Crump.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he the one pursuing the case. But That's what made me. It didn't make me hate the minister. It made me say, like, all right, brother, you know, it is what it is. You show your disagreement, but why get out there and slander that brother when he ain't here to defend himself?
Right.
That I don't respect. You understand? And it make the nation look bad to a lot of people that love the brother.
If I'm not mistaken, he said that at a Savior's Day.
Yeah, yeah. And that ain't his only time that he did.
He said, and he said it in front of Betty Shabazz.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That ain't the only time that he's done that though. He did it on a couple of times. And what I feel personally, it has haunted him the majority of his life because he see that Malcolm became more powerful
In his death.
in his demise than he was on the manifest, and he had to live under that shadow, knowing that he said what he said,
Right.
knowing that he knows what he knows.
Mm-hmm.
And it was frustration, I feel, that have him to bring that out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's haunting him.
Yeah, it's haunted him his whole career.
Yeah.
You know, I had a dream, a vision with the brother though. You know, and he had come to my home and he was teaching from the Book of Fire.
Wow.
You know, yeah, you know, I had spoke on that right there, you know, and me and the brother Nuri Muhammad had been going back and forth, you know, about some history, and you know, I was giving history on Elijah Muhammad. This was in real life though, on Facebook, and he told me that his grandparents was part of the MST of A.
Mm-hmm.
But he was like, man, we need to be finding a way to unite with it. I was like, brother, that's what it is.
That's what it is.
That's what I'm demonstrating. You know, and he was like, you know, we need to find a way to come together. And so you know, I based on that, I had started pushing a draw, and we got the brother Elamine. You know, me and him had conversations. Good brother that be on the book. And we had a grand, you can go in there and see the conversation we had. Because he loved the prophet, but he NOI, he a fruit of Islam.
Right.
And he see the unity. Me and him had went back and forth because he misunderstood my stance in the beginning. But then when he started to listen, he said, nah, this brother here, you know, one, and me and that brother been tight ever since.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so yeah, after me and the brother Nuri vibrated a little bit, I had created a collage with all of us in it, showing the unity, uniting of the Asiatic nations.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I've been pushing. It's a reason why I learned that teaching. A lot of people don't know how in depth I know the NOI teaching.
Right.
I'm not the fruit of Islam, so I don't get out here teaching like that. But back in my earlier years, I taught on a lot of that stuff. You know, the history of Yaqub. I could defend that doctrine probably better than some of the people that study it.
Right.
Because I met a lot of NOI brothers, and I don't say that being arrogant. I used to build with a lot of NOI brothers that used to run from the teachings in the theology of time. When we would be building, they would run from that, you know. And I was studying that deeply, and if they would have studied that thoroughly, you know, they would be ready to accept the Book of Fire right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's so much esoteric information in there, and also dealing with the cycle ages and what the brother was saying was going to be done, what needed to be done. And a lot of that went over their head. Some of them would try to brush it off and say, oh, that's baby language. In the NOI. You understand?
Wow.
But they wouldn't know it. But I delved into the teaching of that book, or those teachings, just like I delved into the prophet teaching.
Mm-hmm.
So I can teach a lot of that stuff off my head I can teach the NOI teachings from the Bible and the Quran.
Right.
Without the lessons in front of me.
Right.
You understand? That's how good I know that teaching.
Right. Right.
And so it was meant for me to learn it so that I can bridge the gaps between us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I demonstrate like I do. You know, I can go into the history of the 7-8 trillion years when the history first started. You know, the 76 trillion years when the first atom came into existence, spinning on its own timetable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the 72 trillion years when the star came into our national. You know what I mean? 66 trillion years when the moon was separated from the earth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can go into that right there and place it in Genesis
Right.
when it happened.
Right.
You understand? I used to teach that stuff,
Okay.
but I can also show you that that teaching came from Kemet.
Mm-hmm.
When he talk about atoms spinning in darkness, that's Atum,
Right.
you know, the deity that came forth from the noon in
Right.
ancient Kemet.
Right.
You understand where I'm coming from?
Mm-hmm.
In the concept, they think that some of the NOI family think that the trillion year concept, you know, is something that they came up with, so to speak. But the Hindu calendar had already taught on those cycles, and they began 311 trillion years.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Right.
So you see, I'm just coming off the head. I don't really need books in front of me to teach what I teach.
Mm-hmm.
I can teach all this stuff from the dome.
Right.
Most of the time when I get to doing that, they where the source at, they want to see. And a lot of time is because I'm making it so plain to where they want to try to get what I done read to reiterate it the way that I do it.
But they don't realize that you got to read all that material and put the puzzle together.
Exactly.
And
You understand?
that's what they not willing to do.
They not willing to do it, and they don't understand that the way that I teach the history and the way that I give this stuff to our people, I give it to them from the root.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned that from studying the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, teaching the root of the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I teach by the root word of the truth, then if I give you a measure, I really gave you the whole demonstration. All you got to do is go look up what I'm talking about. I purposely mention terminology, and if you go research it, it's gonna come back just like I said it.
Right.
You
Right.
see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell sometimes that some of them don't be paying attention to what's being said, because they'll be like, I need a source for that. And they'll keep asking me for the same source on the next occasion when we run into each other again.
Okay.
That's letting me know you ain't reading or doing your own research. And that's
Or
the difference.
or you got an ulterior motive about the information.
There is an ulterior motive. That's right. You don't really care to want the information.
Right.
Some of them want me to give them sources so they can take from the information and go write things.
Right.
They want to. That's why they want me to reveal everything it is that I'm giving, because it's certain people out here that done wrote books off of certain things that I have created in the past, and it is surface. You understand?
Wow. Wow.
There's certain people that done said you're a very resourceful brother. Why they was opposing me? You understand?
Uh-huh.
So you know that's where a lot of it come from as well. You
Wow.
know, a lot of books that have been written in opposition to the prophet, some of these people have stole certain things that I had put out here. And that's why I didn't put certain things out here. I held back certain other information because I seen what they did with the little bit of stuff that I put out here.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So and the enemy is among the ranks.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah. They always they right there next to you.
so yeah, you know,
Right
that's
there.
why I teach on bridging the gaps.
Yeah, one thing I never understood, and not to really veer off the subject, but just in reality, being out here in the world, and a joke will be right there next to you doing something, and then sell you out, right? But you'll let him come right back and stand right next to you after you know it. So, did it make a difference that he did that to you? You know, you didn't create no separation. You didn't, do nothing. You let he came right back and stood right next to you, and while you was doing what you was doing all the time, you giving him a chance to set you out there again. You know what I'm saying? So, man, it's not innate, but it's a learned behavior to want to be abused. They call it the what does they call it? The people that like to fall in love with the people that enslave them or imprison them. It's a syndrome. It's a name. It's a name.
That's I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know
And
what I'm
that
saying?
came from slavery.
Right.
You know, I tell you straight up, I always said that, you know, my love would betray me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Cause I'm the type of person that don't hold grudges.
Right.
When I love my people, I love them for real.
Right.
Even when I know that some of them may present themselves in enemy clothes,
Right.
you know, my fearlessness will allow me to let certain people into my circle.
Right. And you
I
can
ain't no dummy, though.
no,
You can
you can look
believe
at
that.
it. You can look at it from that perspective. Old people used to always talk about the term "feed somebody with a long handled spoon." You know what I'm saying? You know what they are. You ain't totally shunning them, but you aware of what they're capable of doing. So therefore, you handle certain situations in respect to that. You know what I'm saying? So I hear what you're saying from that side of it. You know what I'm saying? You know, because you understand that they really got a problem. You know what I'm saying? You ain't really trying to shun them because they got a problem. You still want to open your heart to them and love them and build with them, but you know, uh, so therefore you kind of still allow them, like you say, come in your circle, you know, but all the time you be more aware of how you expose yourself to them from that point on.
Well, it's like Malcolm when he went out on that stage.
Hmm.
He knew who was out there.
He knew.
And that's what people don't comprehend.
Right.
And that's why I love that brother so much.
Yeah, he knew.
Because he knew what was waiting for him out there.
That's right. That's
And
right.
he basically went out there like a man to
Yep.
basically say, this is how much I love y'all.
Yep.
You feel me?
Yep.
That I literally lay my life down. And
Yeah.
that's what people ain't getting about it.
He tried to prepare his wife and everything about it. He already knew what was going to happen.
Yeah. And that's
Mhm.
what made me love the brother so much. He already knew what was coming.
Right.
All right, I done did what need to be done. So it's in Allah's hand now. You know
Right.
what I mean? That's the deepness, you know, and what happened with that brother, you know?
Yeah.
He accepted his fate.
Yeah. Yeah.
You understand?
That's true.
And that's a real soldier.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Same thing with a lot of our other good brothers, you know, the same way.
Yeah.
You know, our brother Martin Luther King understood what was getting ready to happen with him.
Hmm.
That
Hmm.
last speech, you can tell it.
That's right.
He spoke from his depths.
That's right.
He say, I have no mortal complex.
Hmm.
You understand? He accepted his fate.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah, his letters from Birmingham when he say, "Have I made a mistake and led my people into a burning house, a house of burning fire?" Or whatever I phrase it. It's like he was coming to the realization of what was about to happen.
What made it speedy was the unity that him and Malcolm end up
Right.
obtaining.
Exactly.
That's when they were like, we got to put a stop to this.
Right. Right. That's
If
right.
anything that our people learn from that, it don't matter if you are fire and brimstone or passive. Them people don't care nothing about that. So for the people think that they can live longer just by trying to be passive and peaceful, and
Hmm.
they gonna gun their way through life, let
Hmm.
them keep thinking that.
Hmm.
You understand? But
Yeah,
they can't do no more than the great God Allah allow.
that's true. That's
And
true.
whatever is done, your work will be done by the time that comes,
Right. Right.
and you inspire the rest.
Hmm. That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true. I agree with you on that, man. Because
You
I
gotta think about it. I tell people all the time, you know, our people dying daily for nothing.
right,
So it's an honor to go for the cause.
die for something. That's
If
right.
you don't stand for something, you're gonna fall for anything
That's right. That's
and
right.
nothing. You understand?
That's right.
So if you ain't found the thing that you willing to lay your life down, you dead already.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I know
But we
exactly.
got to go.
Yeah, we going away from here.
Yeah. So what's the big deal?
Say death is our friend. You know what I'm saying? So it's
The
all
friend that cut the cord.
right,
That's right. When the work is done, but you ain't gone then.
right. No,
Judgment is there for the righteous.
no, you ain't never gone all the way. You just change
Yeah.
form. Yeah, change
Like,
form. That's all.
yeah. Like Prophet Noble Drew Ali still working from the plane of soul right now.
Right. That's right.
And the rest of the brothers.
Mm-hmm.
We the return of the ancient one.
Yeah.
Believe that.
Yeah. 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 We talked about that the other night. Yeah. 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 Well, I ain't gonna hold you up, man. This great measure you give tonight, and I did. I missed you when you came back on last night after they got shut down, but I did go back and listen to the completion. So yeah, I want to thank you for completing that measure that you gave as well. So yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we just trying to bring some clarity to our people.
Yeah.
Because they take anything to want to be divided.
Yeah.
Anything they can to wedge some opposition.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is if you ain't did the work that Prophet Noble Drew Ali and none of these brothers did, then just be quiet.
Yeah, a lot of them just trying to be something that they're not, man. It's so simple just to be yourself,
Facts.
you know.
Like I tell them, I ain't trying to become no messiah or none of that type of stuff out here, bro. That's
Right.
too much work. That's hard work, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good with being a witness. That's what I call myself since I was given that name by my teacher, Shaheed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thriving because Allah said in the Grand Quran, one day He gonna raise up a witness from among all people.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just bearing witness to what it is that was brought by those who came before me. I stand upon their shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? That's all. But you got some people, they want to be the next big thing.
Right.
You understand? And that's the problem. But see, it's funny that when a lot of them come at me, that's what they try to come at me with. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But they don't know. I'm just passing through, demonstrating the measure and keeping it moving.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I ain't nobody trying to get at the head of none of the people that don't want to be guided. We ain't trying to waste our time doing that. We putting this measure out here for the young and not yet born.
Mm-hmm.
We know some of our people think they too grown to learn.
Right.
You understand?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want like I'm going off the subject, right? So I started reading Garoppolo yesterday, and so what's the essence that Garoppolo is doing? He's taking symbols, trying to put meaning to them.
You say Garoppolo?
Yeah, Garoppolo. We gave
Oh,
him.
Horapollo.
Yeah,
Oh
Garoppolo.
yeah. Horapollo was an Egyptian priest,
Okay.
and Horapollo was interpreting them symbols metaphysically.
Okay.
He ain't had no alphabet. This was before Champollion.
Ah.
And so he was giving you the definition, and they said he was right.
Okay.
And they say some of his stuff was wrong according to their system, but he was right. So
Right.
my thing is, how was he right and he didn't have an alphabet chart?
Yeah.
You understand me?
I
And I
see.
would go with Horapollo's method because it's the same one the prophet taught.
Mm-hmm.
Before I go with Champollion, because Horapollo was an actual priest.
Okay.
So that means his methodology had to come from the priesthood of Kemet.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what it is. He's showing you breaking down the symbols metaphysically.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And that's the proper methodology that I keep telling them about.
Oh. Yeah, they don't want to hear that.
He ain't the only one that did. He ain't the only one that believed that, though. It's other people. Caramon, Pope Clement of Alexandria, they all was teaching that.
Oh.
Prior to the 19th century, they all believed that's how you study the glyphs.
Okay.
It's only after Champollion came, they started talking about they were letters.
Oh, I got you.
And that's what I keep asking them. I said, Can you show me an alphabet chart that existed prior to Champollion? I mean, prior to your boy, Champollion, the one he created. And they showed me one that the ancient Egyptians had. Because if I go to the Hebrew, they got an alphabet that represent their alphabet.
Right.
If I go to the Arabs, they got an alphabet that represent their alphabet. So surely there should be a chart before the one Champollion created.
Right.
Where is it? And now one of them can't find it because it don't exist.
Wow.
And so I showed them 4 different alphabet charts, and I had more than that. That was created with pictorials, 2 from the Hebrews, and then one that was created by the Meroitic dynasty, the Nubians. You know what I mean? And then the one by Champollion, and all of them have some of the same symbols, and these all supposed to come from Egypt, and yet they all represent different letters according to these alphabets. So if you got one sign and it's saying different things, you know, like everybody can't be right.
Right.
You understand me?
Right.
And these are all considered by scholars pseudo-hieroglyphs.
Wow.
You know, meaning the Nubians, and they was closer to them than Champollion was.
Right.
The Nubians and the Hebrew alphabet that said to derive from them. And they're different from each other. And they was around the same time.
Wow.
You understand? So this is why how we gonna say Champollion come up with something he wasn't even nowhere near that time.
Wow.
And you gonna use his method of decipherment and say, we got it.
Wow.
Come on, man. And I got more charts than that. And they different from them. So everybody can't be telling the truth. Somebody lying.
Somebody lying. Somebody lying.
And my thing is that we can't find one from the ancient Egyptians. These were all people that was outside of Kemet creating their own little thing. And we have to ask the question, did they really do that? Or did somebody else do it and say they did?
So when you say ancient, what dynasty is that?
I'm talking about going all the way back to the time when they say writing first started.
Okay.
That's like 4500 BC.
Okay.
4600 BC. You understand? The real writing actually is hieratic, is what I keep trying to tell them.
Right. Right.
Hieratic is the actual alphabet. It existed from that time period.
Okay.
We got the alphabet chart with hieratic.
Okay.
But what they did, they went and tried to compare the hieratic to pictures and then make up an alphabet off of the pictures, and then they hid the hieratic and made people believe that the pictures was the alphabet.
Oh, wow.
And that was the best way to hide the truth. Because people would always see the monuments that was inscribed with that, and they would literally believe that was right.
That's what it was saying.
That way you'll never go to the hieratic paper and ever study it.
And get the truth of it.
And get the truth out of them. And when you do go into them, like me and the scribe did, you're going to find out a lot of that stuff is hogwash, don't mean what they say. And even the Rosetta Stone.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff that's on the Rosetta Stone, the glyphs they got at the top, straight bogus.
It's scratched out.
It's scratched out, and then one part of it, brother, it ain't nothing but symbols they put around it to decorate it, and then they put little cartouches in there with Ptolemy and them name on it based off of the system, and then basically Ptolemy name right there, see it? When Ptolemy name ain't mentioned, in that Demotic though. Like they trying to put it, they putting it there. You see what I'm saying? Even in the translation I was reading, a lot of them other names, they be adding to that stuff.
Now what's
name Ta was really the name that was there. Ta,
right.
Yeah, not Ptolemy.
What you think about Albert Churchwood?
Signs and symbols of the primordial man.
Yeah.
A lot of that is basically just Masonic lore, Masonic history. He got some stuff in there, records, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But signs and symbols of the primordial man, he even go into the metaphysics behind a lot of the symbols or whatever. But The real language, he mentioned it in there too, Sinzar, is the
Mm,
same language that was spoken of by Blavatsky, and Sinzar is a place in Kemet as well. But
mhm.
Sinzar alphabet is straight up hieratic, bro. All the symbols in the world can be traced back to that Sinzar. But they
Oh,
wasn't pictures.
right.
They was alphabet. I got the Sinzar charts over here.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And a lot of them symbols that you see, like the hieratic, the Hebrew, the Arabic, you know, like all the different Sanskrit, you can see that type of thing in the Sinzar.
Okay.
No pictures, straight like symbols, like you know the little lines like you see them.
So the talk about the place called Shambhala.
Yeah, talking about the center of the earth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Blavatsky and them, they talk about that. And I forget the
yeah,
other guy that was along with them in that era and time.
yeah,
But Albert Churchwood talks about the Tar and
yeah.
talks about how they communicated without speaking any sound.
Without speaking sounds, and that's what I keep trying to tell them. The original speech was communicated without sound. That's
Right,
why I keep saying it wasn't dealing with no pictures.
right.
And pictures wasn't no sounds.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Signs and symbols of a conscious mind and men and women of understanding.
right, right.
You
Yeah,
see?
yeah, yeah. I tell you, man, it's just it's just so much knowledge, man. And
Oh yeah.
you gotta discipline yourself, man, to sit down and because it start getting deep. When it start getting deep, your first natural reaction is to back up because it's so much. It's like it's flooding the brain.
I'm
It's
gonna
in
tell you, brother.
it's designed to do that. But I'm just saying, a lot of people because we so out of our state of being in tune with the creator, it creates something in us that makes us want to get step away from it. You know what I
You
mean?
know, good brother, people don't know that when you get into this information,
Mm-hmm.
what people don't know is once you get into the information, you go so deep you can't turn back.
Can't.
Because if you try to turn back, that's what the information causes an implosion in you.
That's right.
But when you go and you go all the way to the extent that I went to,
Mm-hmm.
and you go so far, realizing that knowledge again, you know, it's an infinite, vast ocean.
Right.
But then you come to a certain point, good brother, to where when you hear the truth, no matter where it come from, you see it as one truth.
Right.
You understand? That's why a lot of them people that got the books they write from that universal standpoint is
Mm-hmm.
because they reached that point. That's
Okay.
the apex of knowledge. When you
Right.
get to the point to where that's what they don't understand. So when people see me, they see me as a more. That's exactly what I am. That's what I stand on. But I honor the truth.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So they have no idea on how far I can go into information.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't trying to prove it to them neither. I'm just giving
Right.
truth by degrees.
Right.
And
Right.
whatever I bring forth to the manifest, I bring it out in due time. But
Mm.
what they think I don't know, you know what I mean? They have no idea.
Right. Right.
You understand?
Right. Yeah, I know. I know exactly what you're saying.
I'm
So
just humble though.
yeah, but you also the prophet told us finite minds can't comprehend infinite things.
That's right. You know, so some of them be getting up there and they go to speaking and they go to trying to talk esoteric and all this stuff here, like they talking something that, like, bro, 30 years ago, I've been studying this stuff.
Right.
You know, and I'm talking about like my consciousness was sharp then
Right.
in my baby stages.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And they have no idea. Sometimes they think they be saying something, talking. I can tell them the book they coming from.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's how well I done studied the information. I can hear where you coming from
Right.
without you telling me what text you coming from. That's what I'm saying. When you read so much, you know, you hear that. So I don't be in conflict with nobody. I understand what the levels they may be on with where they at.
There you go.
You know, I ain't there to disagree with you.
There
But
you
it's like sometimes they be trying to disagree and want to pit their information against mine. For some reason, if you notice when I be on Sonetta platform, everybody else can get a spiel and it's all right. But with me, everybody want to put it like it's like I'm the worthy folk.
what it is,
You understand?
it's it's really funny, man.
It
I have,
is.
I have to laugh at it because
It's real funny.
I
I
I
laugh at it.
I done seen it all. I done seen it out here in the world. You
Mhm.
know, one thing that I made a note of that I saw throughout life, even through my own experiences,
Yes,
that
sir.
when you exuded light and you were someone intelligent as a child, and it reflected through your path going through the education system, our community piled on and jumped them. In other words, because that child was smart, he was looked at as an outcast or a villain. You know what I mean? Because the child was receptive, the child was learning, the child was very articulate, all those things that was being shown early in life. Our community in general beat that child up for being smart and intelligent.
Good brother. What you saying, right? I'm gonna tell you something. When I was young, and if it's somebody that's on here that know me from a young seed, you know, that's watching this right now,
Mm-hmm.
I used to talk about the Most High
Mm-hmm.
when I was very young.
Mm-hmm.
When we was out there doing stuff we didn't have no business doing.
Right.
We'd be out there hanging out 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning, and I get to getting on it. You know what my friends used to say?
What?
And we was like 14, 12, 13 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, here you go talking about that religious stuff.
Right.
That's what they used to say back then.
Right.
You understand?
Mm-hmm. I know
So it was
exactly.
already in me, and that followed me throughout life.
Mm-hmm. I know
You
exactly.
understand? The same thing, different groups of peers, but it always was that way.
Right.
Even when I wasn't really going that deep.
Right.
If I say something positive, they think I'm preaching.
Mm-hmm.
You understand where I'm coming from?
Mm-hmm.
So I was prepared, you know, to deal with that.
Right.
You know, I already went to battle with the Hebrew Israelites. 7, 8 of them, Yahweh ben Yahweh people.
Right.
Not physical battle, but a whole group of them trying to get at me in the knowledge
Mm-hmm.
and couldn't do nothing with me.
Wow.
You understand? And that at that time, you know, I still know the biblical, but I knew the Bible so good, you know, and it still come at me here and there.
Right.
So they couldn't do nothing with me when it came to that Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just studying it at that time.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah. Because it's the principles. It's
Yeah.
It's universal principle.
And then, way back then, when I would see some of them people, when I started becoming enlightened,
Mm-hmm.
and they would be attacking me,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't know it, but I was saying to myself, man, I used to be just like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, before I fully came into what I know,
Right.
the way that they would be trying to come at me,
Mm-hmm.
and fight it, and with the truth and all that right there.
Right.
I got with some of them so bad one time, man. And this is what stopped me from why I don't like to deal with debates.
Right.
Because I was teaching one time, and they was trying to oppose me about 2 dudes, and one of the dudes got mad and said, "F it then," and throw the book on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, I don't know. And I say, hold up, wait a minute, brother. No, you ain't finna put that on me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't want to be the reason that you don't believe in nothing.
Right.
And that's what made me stop going back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't like people that use information as bullies.
Right.
Just like when I was in the streets, I didn't like a bully.
Right.
If
That's
you was
right.
the bully, everybody was scared of. Like I said last night, I was the one that'll come to you.
Right.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Just because you feel like everybody else scared of you,
Right.
and ain't nobody gonna touch you.
They know who to go with. They know who to go to with that though.
But I wasn't even on the conflict level.
Nah,
But
I
if
hear
you
what you're
cross
saying,
my path,
but they know those people that do that. They is something that they see in the person that they attempt to do it to. You just observing them. You seeing what they doing. But if
and
you
I
ever
be saying, as soon as he crossed my path, I'm gonna show him he ain't what he think he is.
right,
And
right.
that's how I would demonstrate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then people start, man, that boy crazy. You know what I mean? And same dudes that be talking about they living like that, same dudes start calling the police on me.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? And I'm
yeah,
looking up to some of them thinking that they thorough.
yeah,
I done got that wrong.
yeah,
Got at the police now
yeah.
for riding through there. And they done told them people it was me.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's what made me go into a shell and stay to myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because after that, every time Rome see me, they jumping out trying to pat me down.
Right.
You know what I mean? Come to find out it's dudes I was looking up to that told them on me.
Right. Yeah.
You understand? So that made me look at people a different way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, I didn't like a bully. And so I took that mindset into consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And I seen somebody real arrogant, think they know everything. Them the ones I used to beat up.
Yeah, I call them vantage takers.
Yeah. And that's why even now, you know, with these ones that be thanking us again, that's why I really get hope to them, you know, because some of our people, if they think they know, you got to thrash them a little bit.
Right.
Because they feel like you can't teach them. That don't mean I can't learn, because I understand I can learn.
Right.
I'm willing to learn from somebody else, but I don't like somebody that think that they got to pit their information
Well, that's what the dude.
against somebody else's all the time. I don't like that.
I observed that dude the other night when you was on Sonetta, when you were showing that Smash.
Yeah.
I observed him act like he talking about we ain't going like that over here on the bay.
Yep.
And all this. I'm like, what
Yep.
you mean, man?
And then on their channel, they said what it was. He didn't want to hear what I said, period. So we know now. He's yeah. Like, why you let him rock, man? You sitting up there letting him. That's what he told Reggie.
Right.
That's why he kept talking over me.
Right.
So he never intended for me to show anything. That's why when I started showing, he didn't want me to show it.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to misrepresent what I said, and he knows some of the people he got sway over them.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're gonna listen to what he's saying because they in opposition to me and they don't even know me. You got people in opposition to me because they in opposition to me.
But you know what it is?
You understand?
What that you know what that showed me, man? You still playing East Coast, West Coast.
Yeah, gang. I call it religious gang banging, bro.
That man ain't nothing to that, man.
If it was that degree right there, I'll still be running around with a flag in my pocket.
Right.
You know, if I wanted to do that. You understand?
Right. You're supposed to be elevating yourself to another level, and you still resorting to that. And you know, I'm like, wow, man,
you heard the brother in the end say, yeah, he is right.
Right.
But, you know, he right, but stop getting at my partner, man. He from the Bay, man. You know, I'm gonna give him something to tear the Moors down. You know what I mean? Come on, man.
Wow.
You keep on, man. You know how many people done came at me with that garbage. I'm the one that put that to rest.
Wow.
I'm the reason why the Moors got peace now.
Right.
You understand? That's why they coming at me, because they feel like I'm the last leg the Moors got to stand on too. If they can crush me, then they gonna crush everybody.
They right in the territory where the Empress Khalifa at.
Yep.
They ain't even paying attention. You know, you claiming the Bay. Why don't you claim your nationality and the land? Where you at? You
Facts.
claim the territory, little neighborhood.
And they don't know what the Bay really means.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so
Yeah,
you
but
know,
it's
and
yeah,
but it's all good.
that's crazy though. I was just sitting. I was when that was playing. I'm like he rolling up like you said he
You
rolling
seen
up.
that, right? You seen that?
I seen that, and then he didn't got lifted and got in his feelings and clicked off. I was like, what is wrong with him?
And ain't nobody over there telling him, brother. You know that we in the house of conscience. Chill out, bro.
Right.
Ain't nobody telling they loving this because that's what they want to see.
Right.
And I know a lot of them is a lot of agent provocateurs in the chat.
Right.
I know this because even outside of Sarnetta channel, good brother, everywhere I go, I can be quiet, just sitting there observing. And it be some individuals that come out and just start attacking me.
Oh.
Who this nigga think he is sitting up here with that Egyptian stuff on the, you understand?
Right.
And then all the energy, they get the clicking up just like on Sarnetta channel and they start attacking me. That's why no Rome involved. You understand? But it ain't gonna stop me from doing what I'm doing though.
Man,
Because I ain't weak like that. They know that by now.
right.
If Rome don't know nothing about my personality, good brother, they know I'm stubborn when it comes to standing on what I stand on and they can't move me.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? They probably tired.
Well, it's just I tell you what it is, and this is my thought on that about them. They know what the truth is, and they've been working so hard to keep the truth from the true people that it applied to. So remember, I made a comment: truth needs no support. So if you standing on the truth, who can knock you off of it? Can't nobody knock you off of it. And then what it does is the more they try to disprove it, it actually proves it. What the truth is, the more they try to disprove the truth, it proves the truth. So I'm like,
That's
man,
what I told them. If they'd have left me alone a long time ago, they probably had something to stand on.
right. You know what
But
I'm
they
saying?
don't know I'm like a boa constrictor.
Right. Get
The
tighter.
more they try to wiggle up out of it, the
Get a
tighter
little
I'm gonna
tighter.
get.
Get a little tighter.
They make it worse on themselves.
Yeah, get a little tighter.
Yeah, you gonna really be in trouble.
Yeah, get a little tighter. So
You know what I mean? Because I ain't laying down. I don't get tired. That's one thing they don't know too. When we get on this thing here, man, I done stayed in. You know how many times I done stayed on Facebook going back and forth, and I got to a point where I just bombed the threads with nothing but truth, and then they leave,
right.
and they done finally figured it out. This dude, we cannot stop him, and so they already know what time it is, and that's why they don't want to get in the ring and have no conversation structured. Because they know if we have a structured convo where they can't cut in and control the narrative.
Yeah, they can't do nothing.
So I never told him that. He said, yeah, he said, man, y'all fear this man. He like, man, y'all scared of this young lion. He said, yeah, that's why y'all try to cut him off. He like, but none of y'all want to get in the ring.
Right.
You know, and that's so I ain't chasing behind him trying to make him do nothing.
No.
You know, and I ain't never did that, but I ain't got no more to say to him. Right. After that stunt they pulled, because that ain't the first time they did. They did that before. You know, and I let it go. But you know, at this time, you know, that's what it's gonna be. The same treatment I gave him, I like you ain't there. You understand? You say something to me, I ain't got no rap for you. Until you ready to get in there like a man and have that combo.
When you put that clip on with Walter Williams told Reggie, man, I almost fell out on the floor.
I fell out on the floor when I heard it myself. You heard him what he told him. He said it's your ego.
He says your ego.
Yeah, he said, Reggie, don't talk to me no more about no hieroglyphic being deciphered.
Right.
He said, I'll give you $1,000 right now if you can decipher one glyph.
Right.
You see, Reggie didn't take that challenge, did he?
Nope.
But that's how Reggie always been. And every time he come in there, I beat him up on the panel. every encounter we done ever had, you know, and because he like to come on the end of what you demonstrate
Right.
and try to convolute it. That's
Mm.
basically what he do. And then run, you know, like it says in the Quran, the waswasil. He whispers and withdraws after he whispers.
Mm.
You understand?
Wow.
Just to basically, like, after I do a bill, let
Right.
me come in there, you know, to make sure that I can get the people that follow me, you know, make sure that they don't take heed to what this brother's saying. That's basically what they thing is.
Uh-huh.
You know
Wow.
what I mean?
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I see through all that right there, bro.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
think they doing something, but you know what it is more people exposing the truth. And they
Mhm.
don't know. They talk about, yeah, nobody over there on the channel. The channel growing daily.
Mm. Wow.
I get 400 views every day.
Right. Right.
You know, they watching different videos, but
Right.
400 views, at least 400 views. We at 13K right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know how hard that is to get people out. And me personally, I just started getting on this channel, like I said, in the last 1 or 2 years.
Okay.
But I had left this channel. I did 1-2 videos and didn't come back on here, and I got like 8,000 views, you know, on those old videos. But they were just sitting there. You know what I mean? So I just really started getting back on here. And a lot of them dudes buying fake views and think we don't know it.
Yeah. Yeah,
All my views are genuine.
I didn't know they could do that. I was watching some other stuff that I be watching, and I heard the people in that community talking about that's what people be doing. They buying bots
Yeah.
and boosting their views up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
if YouTube find out about that, they're gonna cancel your show. That's
Right.
why they be canceling a lot of them dudes stuff. Because they be buying them false views.
Wow. Wow.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah. All my views are genuine, and I give honors to my people, you know, for looking at the content.
Right.
Because all I'm trying to do is get the truth to them.
Yeah, well, you
You know,
doing
and a lot of people trying to hide from the truth, but a lot of people want to hear the truth, you know.
right. Right. You doing a good job, though, brother.
And I just want to make it plain so people ain't got to be confused about this stuff. No
Well,
matter what you believe, you know what I mean?
I tell you, that was part what was happening with me. And I explained to you the other night, you know, what temple do I go to? It's problems with this one over here, it's problems with that one over there. I see inconsistencies myself, what's being said by the so-called leaders of those temples. I'm like, man, I'm not going in there with that state of confusion in there.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't walking up in them places like that. That's the Lord self going on in there. I don't want to be in there. Even though people don't realize in the Moorish Holy Quran, it tells you that you can open a temple and do what you want to do, just as long as you don't go against the bylaws and the Constitution.
Yeah, well, one thing about, you know, the teaching that the prophet brought, you know, is that as man unfold, as God unfold.
Right.
You know what I mean? And a lot of them guys, they don't really be seasoned,
Okay.
you know, for them station that they be demonstrating. And that's why a lot of them like to run.
Oh.
You know what I mean? But yeah, one thing I love about the Moorish American government when I came here, you know, is we exercise our five, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody,
Okay.
you know, got a voice.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You know, your portion of the understanding.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't suppress our people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Anybody feeling like they suppress is because they suppressing themselves. But other than that, we ain't a people that try to control our people like the Roman Catholic Church.
Right.
You know, and stand over them. No, man, we're going to give you the lesson and drop it like it's hot and keep it moving.
Right.
What you do with the truth after we give it to you, that's on you.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
We ain't going to browbeat you over the head with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you know how it go, brother. All is well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all is well. All is well, man. It's a learning process, you know.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
They say, what it says, in order to gain your vast estate, it's gonna be something you have to go through that can't be told in words.
That's right.
Can't be told in words, man. So it's a learning process, and it's unlearning and then relearning.
That's right.
And to unlearn, I made a statement the other day about that principle, that cognitive dissonance. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Where
sir.
that new information coming in, man, will make you shut down and revert back to the old, and it's hard to break that threshold. But like you say, once you break that threshold, you going down the rabbit hole. You ain't gonna
Yeah,
be able to stop. It's just your brain, your spirit is gonna be, your soul, mind gonna be searching for it. It's gonna be
that's right.
thirsting for that information. You know what I'm saying? So,
That's
when
right.
that start happening, and then another thing, like you was talking about the sardines, is people that never knew this information, man, and they getting this information when they 30, 40 years old or more. It's a painful thing, because you got to come to the realization that everything that you had been taught before was a lie. That's painful. You know what I'm saying? Because you thinking you on top of things and you intelligent and you picking up on this and that, but it was all a lie. You
That's
know?
one of the things they be saying to me. Yeah, like who amongst you believe? You know what? Kamisha know this is coming out of his own mind. You know, this man done overthrow modern science and everything. You know, you colder than Dr. York, Phil Valentine, all of them got you. You got all them beat, you know, and all that foolishness, you know, because they accepting what the Europeans saying. You know what
Right.
I mean? And they don't believe nobody can speak up, you know, and deal with a lot of that stuff. So they feel like that's what they be asking me. You ain't hear them question them, brother, that. So you trying to say
Right.
that, you know, everything that we learned was wrong?
Right.
You know, I'm just teaching the truth.
Right.
I can't help that that's what it do to your, and that's what have me. I do know that that's one of the reasons that why some of them get upset, because it's like when they think they know something, now I got to go back and study.
Right.
I thought I had it, but he done came up in here.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that's what's going on. That's why a lot of them be frustrated with me too.
Right.
I think that's what it be.
But you should be happy to go back and review, because each time you go back and review, it becomes more comprehensible, more easy to digest.
Yeah, but they get upset. They like, oh, he's saying something. My master teacher taught me this. So you saying Dr. Ben and da these people, that people wrong? You know, they go to doing that type of stuff.
Mm.
Like they were trying to put me up against the brother Walter Williams. You
Right.
seen that?
Right. Right.
I'm like, man, I'm not finna go against that elder. And also, you misrepresented. I exposed that on the video.
Mm-hmm.
That elder wasn't saying none of what you were saying. And
That's
he
right.
addressed that to Reggie when he told him he didn't want to hear no more conversation about no hieroglyphic. He
Oh,
addressed the same thing.
hey man, that's
Uh,
that's like a elder admonishing a child.
yeah, that's exactly what it was. But you seen how Reggie kept doing.
He kept
He
trying to.
raised his hand up in the
Yeah.
chair, put his hand on his head, and
Right.
you can tell that truth was tearing his behind up.
Right. Right. You know what I'm saying?
It was making him uncomfortable.
Yeah, it did.
You
Yeah, it
know,
did. Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. It
yeah,
was funny. I'm saying that. I'm telling you, I'm sitting here sitting here on the bench watching. Man, I'm literally almost fell off. I was laughing so hard when he did that and shut him down, and he's still trying to. No, I just need 3 minutes, 2 minutes. I just. No. I'm
you
just want.
heard Star get on him.
Yeah, he told me, he said, man, the man already said what he said. Why you keep trying to?
He
Man,
talking about Walter Williams. Commission said that the hieratic was the language of the Egyptian out there. He said that's the language, the
that's right.
hieratic.
That's what he said. That's what he said. That's what he said.
Hey, he couldn't stand that.
Yeah, he said.
He talking about talk to him, not me. Talk to him.
Yeah, I heard him say that.
I said, these dudes crazy, man. But you know how it go, brother.
Yeah.
You know, we gonna keep bringing that truth, brother.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
appreciate you, man, because I tell you, like I say,
Yeah.
man, last couple days, last couple weeks since I've been really tuning in, man, it just I feel at ease myself and my spirit. I feel at ease listening how your demonstrations, man, and uh it's just a delight to be able to hear someone else confirm, add on to, uh give you more fruitful thought to keep going. Um, when you say some of this stuff to these people that's been in this so-called, like them supposed to call, been in this information for so many years, and you be looking at them and asking them questions, you know the answer when you ask them, and when they come back with what they come, you think, how did you get that out of that? When it's plain and simple right then and there, and it just make you wonder, man. Like you said, that agent provocateur, all that type of stuff, it automatically send you to that. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. You here to actually confuse people about the information or give them the information like it is presented? You really here to distort the truth? Do you realize what you're saying when you represent yourself like that? That you here distorting the truth? You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. It's you know that's a hurtful thing to me because I'm like, wow, you've been on this planet this long, and this what you evolved into. You couldn't get to your higher self. You still groveling in your lower self. You know what I'm saying? Practicing deception. You know what I'm saying? I just
Yeah.
I just it's wild, man. You know what I'm saying? It's wild. But I ain't gonna hold you on, man. We're going on full. I know you'll go to daybreak.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
you
know.
know we're gonna pick up and be back on tomorrow.
Okay, all right, my brother. Good
Or well,
talk.
today anyway, later on.
Yeah, later on the day. But
Yes, sir.
yeah, I looked at that one we was on the other night. That joint said 6 hours. I said, wow.
Yeah, we be going, brother. Don't even seem like it.
It to be going by. You know what I'm saying? And I think when we was on, I think it got to one point. I said, well, man, it's this time. Go ahead and get off it. A whole nother hour went by.
Yep.
See what I'm saying? So it's like, but yeah, but I appreciate you, man, and I'm with you, man. I love what you're doing, man, and I get I'm it's kind of just showing me where I need to be as far as that national and divine side of everything. I'm just because that's been a struggle for me for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Where's home? You know what I'm saying? Where's home?
You home now.
Yeah, where's
We say
home?
welcome home.
Yeah, because you
You
looking
got
like
to tune into the conference call.
yeah. I got the number.
Yeah,
I
most
got the
definitely. I know
number.
you probably done been on before, right?
I've been on listening in the background.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, I've
There's
been
a
on there
lot of
listening.
people that been on and come up, maybe like I've been here for years,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes they come forth. But yeah, man, we there. So
Yeah, I'm listening in the background. I took the I think that's the grand chairman number you gave the brother the other day to get the book of Ali.
yeah, he done ordered it already too.
Yeah, I'm about to order one too.
Mm-hmm.
About to order one too, cause
Yeah, you
man,
can get the also the full. I don't know if you got the new version. You know, we got the 70 chapters of the Quran.
oh yeah,
Yeah. You know, we got all that stuff in there. The stuff they be trying to hide in the temple, talking about red book. They don't want to let you see. You
he
know,
put
all
it
that's in our Quran.
he put it all together in one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what
That's
I
why they mad at him.
Well, what it is, so I had got one that somebody else reproduced, but I also like to be able to compare for accuracy, whether see if somebody changed something or not.
Mm-hmm.
So and people don't realize, man, that red book, man, that's like a whole nother, that's a whole nother degree. You know what I'm saying? It's like it just, from what little I read of it, uh, it not only accentuates, but it goes into deeper detail, and you know, bring a lot more clarity. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm gonna check about that since he got all one. That
Yeah.
might be easier for me to deal with.
That's why we got 70 chapters.
They in big print. It's in big print.
Hey, yeah, they're a little bigger than the printing. They're a little bigger than the Book of Fire.
Right.
It's actually bigger in size too
Right.
than the normal one, normal Qurans that
The
they be.
normal one. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
You know.
that's what I'm saying. So we gonna get on it. We gonna get on it, man. So, but I appreciate all that you do, man. I tell you, I can't say enough. You know,
Yes,
can't
sir.
say enough, man. So take
We
your
look
time, man.
forward.
Take your time, and you be reading and be reading, man. You know that takes a lot. Like, I don't know if everybody really realize that, man. When you be reading, explaining, and actually reading the text while you on, like, while you demonstrating, that's a lot. You know what I'm saying? Versus just sitting there talking about it. You reading it, then you going in, you giving the explanation, full detail, and disseminating the information, man, properly, man, to where anybody should be able to receive it in the proper fashion. So can't I don't know what a joker be thinking about trying to knock that, because they not doing that at all. They just
Oh,
talking.
they think I can't read. That be real funny to me. They don't understand. I can take a book, brother, and speed read through a whole book
Mm-hmm.
and absorb it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm talking about just by scanning with my fingers, I can go through it. That's why I be putting all this information. That's how I be getting it all like that.
Yeah, I took that technique back in the '80s, man, the early
Mm-hmm.
'80s in high school when we was about to take the SATs,
Yeah,
and they brought somebody in to teach us how to use those techniques. And
yeah,
years ago, they had the woman, I can't think of her name. It was a woman that was teaching that. She had a course that you could take, how to learn how to speed read. You know what I'm saying? But uh, yeah, yeah, I'm down with you on that one.
yeah. I do that, and I go through the book, and I pull certain measures, and then I go through it and thorough read it.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Just to get a basis of it. Like
Mm-hmm.
I take the core out of doctrine.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I look in something, like I look at the core, I end up going through the core of what it is, chapter by chapter.
Right,
You know, and I be understanding. I ain't just when I was reading in high school, bro, I was reading on collegiate level,
right.
genius level read.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
they talk about I can't read. I'd be like, man, who? But it is what it is. You can believe what you. They know what time it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's part of that good. That's part of that good European education he was talking about.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? They ain't. I be hearing people knock that. You know what
But
I'm
you know
saying?
where it come from? Really?
Well,
Me right. Because I deal with music.
okay.
That's what really inspired me to wanna. When I was younger and I used to be writing music, I used to want to write about something.
Right,
And so I knew the only way that I can do that is by reading.
right. Get your
So if
subject
you
matter.
listen to a lot of my music, a lot of my music is introspective. It got deep meaning. You can hear there's clarity in it. You feel me?
Okay. Okay.
And that come from that's what pushed me to be like that.
Oh,
Even when I was young, being right here from Florida, I wanted to be able to talk about something.
right.
Because it was easy to talk about the stuff that was around me and what I was doing.
Right.
You know, that's the easy part.
Right.
But I wanted to be able to say something that was going to be of substance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, because I was really trying to get into that music one time.
Okay. Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah, but that's what pushed me to be the reader that I am.
Right. Right. Get some subject matter. Yeah. I
Mhm.
feel you on that. I feel you on that. I feel you on that. And
Yes,
then
sir.
you saying something. And then you saying something that's it's taking a level of thought of people. You know, but I find a lot of people just listen to the beat. They listen
Right.
they listen to beats. They're not listening to the lyrics.
That's right.
See what I'm saying? So, because the beat is resonating with the spirit and getting you moving and feeling good and dancing and swaying and doing this and that. But they're not listening to the lyrics. You know what I'm saying? And it's like they miss it. I don't know if they can, and they can even recite the lyrics and really not get what it's saying.
That's right.
See what I'm saying? Because it's the beat that's got them going. It's really not the lyric. You know what I'm saying? So I've seen that happen a lot of times. I look at all them old groups, man, the OJs and all them people, man. I said, man, do you really hear what they saying?
Right.
What you
See, I
mean?
listen to all Lamont Dozier and all that stuff. I go way back. That's
Yeah,
another thing about me. I
yeah,
listen to old music.
yeah. And my old man used to be a trash man. He found a box of records in the trash somebody had threw out. It was all old jazz stuff and and all types of different music, man. And whenever we had somebody over the house or something, I was the DJ. So I would be picking certain things and playing them. And next thing I know, man, they be listening. They be like, "Man, where you get that from?" They asking him, right? But I'm selecting it and playing it.
Mm.
It just brought life to them. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, how did I thought I didn't think about it at the time, but I was listening to it too. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, wow, let me put this one on. I know they ain't heard this one. Put this, man. So it's a gift. We got gifts, man. We don't even know we got.
That's right.
You know,
They used to call rap. A lot of people don't know, like you got rhythm and blues,
right.
but rap is rhythm and poetry.
Okay.
There's a lot of rhythm out here, but there's a lot of lack of poetry.
Right.
A lot of people don't even know that's what the genre of rap is. You
Right.
got rhythm and blues and you got rhythm and poetry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So that's what you call what's the little sessions they used to have, the spoken word session.
Yeah, all that. James Brown's officially, to me personally, it was people way before him, but James Brown is really one of the first rappers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That song Payback, he was rapping on that.
Yeah. 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 The big payback.
Yeah.
Wow.
He even used the term rap,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And James Brown was before him, and he ended up being one of the most sampled by rappers.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. Most people couldn't understand what he was saying though.
Yeah, they couldn't get it. And then one of the person that actually embodied James Brown's style perfectly was Mystical.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
he was the one that actually took James Brown's style and modernized it,
Mm-hmm.
mixed it with a little Michael Jackson and all that right there.
And let me ask you a question.
Hmm.
When you heard James Brown, did you think that he was speaking Gullah?
Yeah, well, he was getting into it. He was doing his thing. Yeah, he was doing his thing.
Because I can't even understand. Like
Basically similar to like the young brother out of Georgia was doing when he come out, Young Thug.
right,
Hmm.
right, right,
Yeah,
right.
they be feeling themselves.
Yeah, yeah. So cause you know, hear people, I like James Brown. I can't understand the words he's saying though. I said, I
Mhm.
don't know why you can't. He's saying he's talking. I don't know why you can't understand what he's saying. But
Yeah.
everybody can't catch that vibration. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's just wild, man. It's such an amazing place, this planet we on.
Yeah. What a name was on that level too, though.
Who that?
Willie Hutch.
Right, right.
He was more like a melodic rapper
Uh-huh.
during his time.
Willie Hutch. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I tell you, we're amazing people, man, to be oppressed the way we are for so long and still able to exude our talents, even though, you know, we live under the system that tries to keep us down. You know, that thing you read, uh, Black New Oil, that just hit. I had typed in, when you was reading the one about uh, South Carolina, I had typed in the Free Sundry Moors,
Mhm.
1790,
Yeah.
and how they said who they was, and, and most people have a problem with this concept when they said we should be treated just like a free white citizen. Now, most people have a problem with that term,
Hmm.
and
That's because they don't understand, concept of status.
right, right. But what I never understood that when you go read that legal definition, and it talks about the what do you say the North Africans or Moors. At the same time, it say that a Caucasian shall never be a citizen of the United States.
Hmm.
It speak about all other nationalities, but when it get to the end, it say a Caucasian shall never be a citizen of the United States. Now, when I look
Well,
at that,
they don't own the land.
right, but when I look at that, and then we look at the people who running the system, nobody. Who are they? Where is their origin?
Fact.
Are they really considered Caucasian? And how did they end up with the system in their hand? So it's like it's another book, Black Slave Owners in South Carolina, 1790.
Mhm.
Something about that 1790
Yeah.
popping up. You know what I'm saying? And we know that's the year, that's right before the Constitution was ratified, and that's right after the Treaty of Peace and Friendship went into effect. So something about that 1790 where I got another joint called Colonists for Sale, indentured servants in America. It's talking about the European being indentured servants and our slaves.
Yeah, that's what your boy Tim Wise be talking about.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, how are we missing all it? And that's why they don't want that whole critical race theory introduced into the school system because it's
That's
going
right.
to dispel a lot of stuff that our children being taught is being ingrained in them. That's wrong. You know what I'm saying? So it's like schools, man. That's one of the major things that I have on my mind about us having our own schools, man. You know, it's just imperative that we try to. I don't know how it's gonna be done. I be looking at them brothers, man, to be coming through the HBCUs, and they be talking about the Divine Nine and the Greek system, right? How did you develop a fraternity under the Greeks? I never understood that. You know what I'm saying? You really know who the Greeks were and what they did? Why you got a fraternity system, fraternity and sorority system based on them.
By design.
Right. Trying to be accepted, trying to be like the European fraternity system. See what I'm saying?
Well,
So like,
ain't no such thing as Greek philosophy.
right. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, come on, man. These people just stole everything and just claimed it to be dead. You know what I'm saying? So, and you said it the other night, George G.M. James, he put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
He put it out there. You know what I'm saying? Stolen legacy. He put it out there. So, all right, I'm gonna let you go because we'll be talking for another jump. I'll be looking for you tomorrow
All right.
or later on today.
All is well, good brother.
Yes, sir, all the time. Peace and gratitude to you.
Peace and gratitude, good brother.
All right.
All right.
All right.
All right, family. Y'all already know it's an honor to keep bringing this truth to y'all, and y'all get a chance. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this particular measure, and get the truth out there to the people. We're gonna keep bringing it to you. We're gonna make it clear, whether you Moorish or not. You can come and get this information and have right knowledge based upon it. So that's what we're gonna keep doing, and we'll see y'all at the next session. We're gonna lay down and rest a little bit and raise up again. Salawat. Peace and love, family.